Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Downtime with Downstar, episode 223. And today we are here with Ryan from Nito Studios. I keep saying that I need to get a soundboard.
Yeah.
And it's 223 episodes, and I don't have one.
That's awesome.
But it's all good, though. Ryan, what's up, bro? How are
Not
you?
much, man. Happy to be here. Happy to be hanging out with you, man.
Thank you, bro.
Another fun day.
All the way from PA?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Still in the same location, right outside of Philadelphia. I'm so excited, man. It's been a fun journey so far, man.
I can tell, bro. It looks like you're having so much fun, dude. Like, just being a creative person and seeing the stuff that you're coming out with. I'm like, there's no way he's creating this and it's not fun. Every piece that you come out with, it's just like, I can't even decipher it, like how you even got to making some of the graphics that you make. You know, I was looking at, we're going to get into all this stuff, but I was looking at some of your NFTs and it's just like, dude, I don't even know what programs you would even use to make that kind of stuff. You're such a creative person, dude.
Appreciate it, man.
I love it.
It's been great, and everything with the NFTs has been so experimental and exciting because you're able to, a new platform kind of presented itself. And I was talking to my homie, and I was like, we'd be ignorant not to try what this is, and because it's a very Wild West right now. It's very difficult to understand, and from a marketing standpoint, I look at it and I'm like, well, it's not on our own platform, and I just kind of went in with like low expectations just to see what it was and experiment. And man, it's been a really cool place to live in. Well, at least put your art in. It allows the artist to become kind of the stakeholder and have a little bit more control, because everything's directly to you. And with the blockchain, everything's all record keeping is documented, and you're able to track where your pieces go. And one of the biggest benefits from NFTs, you're allowed to set commissions. So a lot of times you'll sell a piece, and if it flips, it's cool for like a traditional artist. You sell a piece once and it gains value, and 10 years down the road it's worth $10 million, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Each transaction you're allowed to set a commission, so you're able to make revenue every time it resells.
Got you, because there's a way to track it now.
Yeah, and you can set in the collection that like for every piece in a specific collection, you could set it up to 10% commission rate, where you can collect that revenue from here until forever, or however long the platform lasts. Yeah,
when I heard the NFTs coming up, I was like, yeah, this is very interesting, and I've tried to figure out what it is and how it works, but I still haven't spent that much time. Was there any sort of like piece of content or any video or interview that kind of helped you understand it better? My good friend Connor is a friend of Eric, and he got into NFTs almost a year ago. Oh, wow.
He was early.
Oh my God.
And he showed it to us early, like maybe 8 months ago. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know, man. Because like I've transitioned into kind of accepting the fact that I'm just an artist, right? Like I've always wanted to put a label on what I am, business owner, designer. But recently, over the past year, I've really accepted the fact that I'm just an artist at the end of the day. Like there's no need to put a title on it or get down to a very specific platform or medium that I work in, because art is kind of encompassing so many different mediums. And when he brought that opportunity or showed me NFTs, I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
and eventually, the world was like, oh, yeah, everyone got on it. And I was like, well, let me check it out. And a few months ago, I was like, well, I was on the phone. I was like, he was walking me through it. And eventually I was like, man, this is pretty cool. And I just threw it up there with low expectations. And I spoke to he owns like a virtual reality gallery.
Okay.
And he kind of shifted my perspective on it, because I was like, everyone goes with the intentions of making $1 million or a lot of money from it, and they'll price their pieces so high. And he was like, think about it from like a lot of what these bigger artists are doing. They're doing it for like $1 to $34, $30-$40, and they're making their money on the back end for the resale. And ever since I shifted to that, I found it a lot more beneficial, where like at first I was like, all right, we'll do it for like 1 ETH, all right.
Yeah.
then I switched it to like $30, like USD. And then it started moving. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And it's still like, I'm not a master, and it's not something that I promote that much, honestly.
Yeah.
I just have it for those who want to participate and that love that world. I want to offer, in that space, have something to offer in that space.
Yeah. I mean, that's enough in its own, just people hearing NFTs, that's pretty much the most information that they have in it. But just to be dabbling in it, dude, like you're definitely ahead of the curve for sure.
It's cool because you can do so much. You can like musicians, right? Mm-hmm. You can process or put out your music as an NFT that has unlockable content, and you can do something special for your fans or your supporters that are looking for kind of like a extended release. You can do an extended version NFT exclusive. There's so many different ways you can flip NFTs and have them be beneficial in a unique way. That's one thing that's really cool. Is I was playing around with the idea of offering our single issues as NFTs, and just again, still open, still trying to learn it, because it's not necessarily confusing. It's just one of those things that you have to find how you want to work it, like how it's going to work for you.
Got you.
So yeah, it's been an interesting journey with as far as NFTs.
Yeah, very cool, dude. So before we get any further, maybe we'll just give people a quick backstory, because maybe once we say the old name, it'll pop up. So from Nito Studios, before that, it was Unite, because that's what your brand was. Yeah. So when you came on to the podcast the last time, that was the brand Unite, because you brought us a steering wheel. I still got it on the right hand right now. Thanks again, dude. Yeah. We got the backpack. Yeah, we got the backpack right there, dude. And I think like going all the way back, I don't remember where I actually saw your hoodie at. It could have just been on Explorer or something like that, but you were in like the drift community, right? Okay, and then I saw a sweater, and it had a saying on it, which was kind of like an emo sort of saying, and it really brought me back, like just the graphics and the style of it. It brought me back to kind of like the emo days, emo music,
and it explains a lot, because what I was going through then, it was early years of, not necessarily I was young in age, but I was young in my creative journey. So I look at those pieces and think of like that's how I was feeling in that moment, because I was so early in my stage of my creative journey. Yeah. And it was a lot of growth during those periods. And we transitioned. It started as, it started me drifting on YouTube, trying to have a YouTube channel with drifting, family, friends, and everything I was oriented around then. And I always wanted to own a clothing brand or kind of make designs and put them on t-shirts. And after a while, I just felt that I wanted to provide a solution, like almost like I was looking at, I get inspired by others, and I'm looking at like clothing wasn't fueling me anymore, and I started to kind of like, fall into like a little bit of a place of like I wanted more. I wanted to do more and really provide something that is stretching myself creatively. And I forget what happened. I think I started, towards the tail end of Unite, because I put out a few collections, and I just kind of sat back and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And not for any specific reasons. I just felt that I was doing clothing for the wrong reasons. Like I was doing it for trying to gain exposure, and I was like almost letting, which a lot of people, we all fall into. Like we fall into where we are looking for attention for the right reasons, because we want to grow, we want to have a business, we want to provide for our family. But I felt that that was almost overtaking me, where it's like I was letting like social drive my intention rather than leading with intention. And I was in a place where I didn't like where I was, and I didn't like where my mental was, and I kind of stepped back, and I remember I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back to basics and just work on my craft. Like let's get good at drawing again. Like I stopped drawing because when you're doing graphic tees, you're just doing it on a computer, adjusting fonts, creating your own fonts, and there's not much artistic there's not much illustration behind t-shirts, at least for what I was doing. And it kind of led me to, I mean, it's almost like this journey was like multiple things working in parallel together that all kind of came together, because I was working at a company that made automotive parts. I think I was talking to Kenny, and I think it was right before I came here the first time. I just quit that job.
Okay.
Because I was like, I want to be, like I figured out during that time, I was like, look, I think I am supposed to be like, like I felt like I wanted to run the business. Like I wanted to run my own business. I didn't want a boss. And like, it was a cool experience. Like I loved working for them, but I just felt like I wanted what I wanted more. And I didn't want that at the expense of that business. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't want to do them wrong, because the owner was a friend of mine. So I bowed out, I just said, look, I just wanted things to go back to normal on where I was. And during that time, I fell in love with quality, because they really brought a quality of like an ungodly quality, the boxing, the packaging. And I learned what quality was while I was there. And I fell in love with physical product. And I felt like I mean, you know what it's like showing the anodizing process. Like the physical aspects of a product is just, I don't know, it's just, there's something about it that really is exciting. Like I said, it's science experiments, but like it's so much fun trying to figure out how to create something from from an idea to physical.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that really attracted me to you, is that you're really good with the small details, and like even some of your products, like I was saying, like with the backpack and other things that you're making, even your chain, and it just always interests me how you just spent time on the small details that other companies, they wouldn't, because it really doesn't matter that much. People are going to buy it.
Yeah.
The way that other companies will think about it is like, they're going to buy it with or without this tag. Why am I going to put this tag on it? It's an extra 45 cents.
Yeah.
Why am I going to waste this time, have to get it sewed on or whatever? But like, those are the things that set your product apart from other brands.
And I learned that while working there. Like, I didn't realize how far packaging goes. Like I'm obsessed with packaging. We spent so much time on the packaging and the customer experience for this first Inue product. It's very cool. The box, I wish I brought the box with me.
Yeah.
But the from start to finish, it's an experience all the way down to the bottom. And I didn't learn that until you don't learn things until you get exposed to greatness and you meet new people, and that's why it's a creative journey. It's not you don't set out to try to do one specific thing. And once I accepted the fact that I'm an artist and this is a journey, and it's almost, it's a marathon, and we're not going to gain success overnight or even within 1 year, 2 years. Like, it's going to take time curating ideas and putting, going to the drawing board and figuring out what we want to do.
Yeah. So when you made this change from Unite, because did you feel like you lost some of who you were?
Yeah, a little bit. It was almost like I don't like giving up, right? Like, I don't quit. And I was really lost. And but when I started drawing again, I started to, because I went with the intentions of, I'm going to take a break and just work on my craft and maybe come back at more illustrated, like more designs that have an illustration discipline or focus. And then my time went on. I think I spent a few months, and during that time, which is funny because I wrote, I fell in love with like comic books, and like I've always loved manga and anime, but I set out, like I designed this concept for this robot, and because one day I was struggling, and my buddy was like, he was like, you live in your machine, the machine you built, and he was like, you got to get out of the machine. He was like, that your reality, that the way you perceive reality is not what reality really is. Like, you are successful, you're doing well, Ryan. Like, and I was like, I don't know, I don't think I am.
It's easy for you to say. You don't know what the fuck I got in my head.
Yeah, that was like, but it sparked an idea of like, I came up with an idea, and I still want to write it, and I wrote some of it, but it's a story about a father and daughter that live inside of a robot, and it's at the end of times, and the father knows of the world prior to the world being in ruins, but the daughter only knows of living inside that robot, and the feeling of being a father and wanting the best for your child and being torn. Like, I want her to experience things, but yet I got to protect her. And I started to write that book, and I was super excited. I got like 40 pages in of illustration. I was like, man, this is actually really cool, because I was no longer concerned about building brand. And like, it's good to have that focus at the right times, but sometimes it's good to sit back and work on your craft. And I was really building the brand or building that book and just focusing on my craft as an illustrator, as a storyteller.
Got you. Did you ever feel that your the community that you were in prior, that it wasn't challenging you enough and you needed to find a new space for your creativity?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I would say it was more so internal battles.
Gotcha.
It was all internal. Like all my friends were like, I don't like, you're good, man. Like, I like your stuff. Like, you need to like chill out and just keep doing what you're doing, and it'll work out. But I just felt like internally I was almost going a little crazy, where it's like I wanted something so bad, because it's like, by all means, like, I want to provide for my family, and when you can't provide for your family, that's the most disappointing feeling ever. Like, when your wife says, like, how long are you gonna do this for? That statement is crushing.
Yeah.
And I was writing the book, and my buddy passed away in January, and it crushed me. And that's what not made me shut down, but I was in no position to want to do anything. I was like, I'm good.
Shit.
And I was like, I am good. I don't want to do anything. And it took me like a month or two to kind of like, I continued to work on the book and just kind of flesh out some ideas, and like literally just get back to basics. Like, I started doing fundamental practice on drawing, and and started to build myself back up, and over time, so I created Inue in 2018. It was from my daughter, and she was like, there was a time of how long are you going to do this kind of, my family was a little shaky during that time. And it was funny because Kenny and I were reminiscing back. Like, he was listening to his old music, like when he was 16 last night, and I'm flipping through my iPad, and we're just.
You guys are both crying.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, we were reminiscing, and it was funny because we didn't set out to do that. Yeah. Like, we were just like, he was going further and further down his playlist, and I was just going further down my photos. Because I was like, when did I make Inue? Like, what was going on around that time? And I realized that it was when my now wife had that conversation with me, and I was crushed, and I felt really lost, and like almost like, man, am I not supposed to do this? Like, here we are again, like things like aren't working out, and that's when I created Inue for my daughter as a design, and it was just like a sketch because she loved horses and unicorns, and during that time, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna, like, that was prior to me stopping and my buddy passing away. But I always felt like it was gonna be something. And it's like I said, there's a lot of things that were kind of working in parallel. Because at that time, I was kind of rewinding back. I was working at that automotive company. Yeah. So like, I was falling in love with physical product. But yeah, and then so going forward back to like where I'm starting to kind of get back on my feet, I started to push the idea that I was working on, which was Avidor. That was the robot?
Okay.
And man, I forget what I was listening to a sermon, right? Because I love church, and like I'm a Christian, and that really, like, I let faith lead my life, right?
Gotcha.
And I remember it was saying like, what if the book you're working on is not the book and it's the next one? And I was like, well, and for some reason I was like, you know what? Let me see. I was just like really open. I was like really open to learning and trying to get back to a foundation that I once had as a young adult, and possibly even teenager. And I opened the file of Inue, and because I modeled him in 3D back like years ago, and like he looked nothing like he looks now. And I started playing around, and I adjusted some features and really started tinkering with them just for fun. And that's what's so cool is like it all started, like, for once it really started in a pure place. I was just having fun being creative, and like that's when like a lot of good things happen, is when you're not worried about will people like this, or will this be my business, or like it's just from a pure standpoint where it's like, let me just have fun and let me figure out and kind of just work on some creative stuff. So I started adjusting features, and I sent it to my buddy. I'm like, I think I got something. And I was like, I'm trying so hard not to say, this is it. This is the business. Because everything's a business to me. Yeah. I'm more business focused than like creative, like at that time. And I'm trying to find balance even now, and I started tinkering, and he was like, fix the hair. He was like, do this. And he's really guiding me. He's my buddy, Eric. And he's almost like my sensei.
Gotcha.
From a creative standpoint. He is a master in what he does, and a beautiful person. Helps me so much. Helps me push ideas. Like when I come to him with like okay ideas, like I think they're all right, and he's like, you can do better. I'm really? Like, oh. I was like, oh man. Or he could tell when I'm like not into something. Like I'm like I showed him an idea, or like we'll get commissioned for something, or like we'll have a job, and it's weeks out, and I'm still working through it. And I'm like, what do you think? I like this idea. And he's like, you're being lazy. I'm like, oh wow. I was like, stop it. No. So, but he pushes me, and so he started to give me some real good critiques. And getting older, it's like I've gotten better at taking criticism, good criticism, like from people that really want you to improve your product or your life or your creative style. And so I listened to him. We sat and adjusted, and just over time we just started tinkering and really started to come up with the form of this like Inue, just the character. And at that time I had no intentions of anything else. Like it was just creating, and I had so much fun doing it.
So you're just chilling on your free time and just creating. Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Bro. I love that.
Yeah, that's how it started. It was just from a pure place of making something that my daughter could love. I was on the drive here. I was telling Monica, I was like, I looked back and I was like, I actually created Inue when we were Rocky. Yeah. And she was like, oh yeah, really? And then she was like, I think you said something along the lines like, I want Lena to have something I create forever. And I was like, did I say that? Oh, that's pretty good. I was like, that's really cool.
So this is it, dude.
Yeah, man. It's
this is sick, bro.
Thank you. It's been such a fun journey. And what's so cool about it, like if you look at the bottom, it says because I created that when I thought I was still gonna have Unite because. And it was this product is a symbol for me of transition and growth, and kind of like really letting God lead my life in a way where allowing opportunities and circumstances to kind of like fall into place without me trying to force them into place, and just almost letting God lead my journey.
So how do you know when it's time for you to get out of your own way?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I always say that, like when it comes to like letting opportunity come to you and creating opportunity is a fine line. It's almost like I relate it to drifting. If you have full throttle, you're going to spin out. If you have too little throttle, you straighten up. So it's like that perfect 80 to 95% throttle that you have to maintain during your course, which is sometimes it's difficult to navigate and understand on like, is this a good time? Should I say something, or should I sit back, let things fall in place? And it's one of those things you just kind of like, honestly, I'm like, I try my best to like lead with good intentions and just like allow my journey to fall in place rather than really force my way into anywhere.
Yeah, I guess if you have good intentions, there's nothing really to even look back at.
Yeah.
You know, if you go into bad intentions, you can always, man, I wish I would have did this better. I wish I would have did that. As long as you say, hey, I tried my hardest. I thought this was the best decision to make. There's not much that you can really say after that. Yeah,
it's like I gave this my all, regardless on what tomorrow brings. I gave this my all. I worked almost 2 years on it. I've in the last 8 months I've worked nonstop. I created a animation for tomorrow, like when the product is released. You know how they do like on network, they'll do like the videos and it's like a live broadcast.
Got you.
So I created a animated short of the first chapter of the book. It's more of like a sped up version of it, because it's Kenny wrote a song and recorded a song to it, and my buddy Paul did the instrumentals, so it's all original music. It's really, really dope. So we had the sonics in place. I did the animation and edited it, but all that process, you know, the last 8 months, man, I was really working hard and trying to make the best product that I possibly can, and thinking of all opportunities that I can control. You know what I mean? Like, and thinking about bringing a genuine fun experience to something new, because one thing is, like, this is an awesome product, but the story is even cooler. Yeah. Like, I wrote a whole, like, the first issue is being released tonight at 12 a.m. on our website.
So tonight, guys, Thursday, May 13th. So by the time you're listening to this, it's going to be out now. Where can they check it out at?
On nitostudio.com.
Okay, cool.
And what's cool is, like I mentioned before, I wanted to sell it as an NFT, but there's times, like, this is where, like, I have to check my gut and figure out, like, what would I want as a consumer, and what would I love? What would get me excited? And one of the things I wanted to do is offer the first issue just on our website. Like, there's no purchase, there's no nothing, there's no transaction. Just go enjoy the story, because I feel that the story is so much fun that I don't want anyone to miss out on it. So you can just go on there, click on issue 1, and just, you know, have fun with it.
And you would be able to just
you can
go
read
through the pages?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I made it's a digital comic book on our website.
Oh, dude, very cool.
Yeah, so
Nito Studios, guys, go check it out. It's free. You can check out what he's working on.
Yeah, it's exciting. So yeah, I just want to lead with good intentions and really come from a pure place, from creativity and love and good story. The story is about a child that goes through some trauma, and he runs through to his hideout, and, like, in the woods. And long story short, he keeps running past it, and he falls into a different dimension, and he transitions into a creature called Inue. And he falls into this world, and this world is in ruins and being taken over by an evil being named Demonic. And he is their savior. He is able to host the powers that he does not know, but he's just a child that just went through some trauma. So it's a lot of self-discovery, where he doesn't have the confidence to uphold that mantle and, like, really kind of be the savior he didn't know he could be. So it's really cool. It's a fun journey. It's a journey of self-discovery, trying to figure out your way. You know, a lot when I was writing, it was a lot of parallels to my life, where it's like, I feel like I can do something. I feel like I have all the talent that God's given me, and I really want to be able to provide and push myself. But I sometimes, you know, in life, where it's like things aren't really working out, and I don't know what to do. And it's one of those things you just kind of have to find yourself and move forward and get into a better place, and allow circumstances to push yourself, you know, allow the wind to move you in the right direction.
Yeah. So is the Inue, is that a species, or is that?
Yeah. So yeah, there's Inue. So the world is Kokoro, right? And this world is filled with creatures that control elements of this world. So imagine that they're living underneath our world. Okay. And they can control condensation, the rain. They control the sun, the gases of the fire, the sun. They control how close it is to the world, wind, etc. So all 5 elements: earth, which is matter, water, lightning, water. Did I say water again? Yeah. So and then man, I'm trying to think of all of them. So all 5 elements of this world.
Breakdancing, maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
Graffiti, breakdancing.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then Inues are the only species that can control all 5 elements. So they're like the master key holder. Mm-hmm. And their first Inue has disappeared, and that is why it's being overtaken. So that's the journey.
So in the story, does this Inue, he has a name?
Yeah, his name's Quan.
Quan?
Yeah.
Okay, Quan. So that was the kid's name?
Yeah.
Okay, Quan.
Yeah, my daughter named him.
No way. Yeah. Dude, that's so cool, man, that you have so much aspects of your personal life just mixed up into the story.
It makes writing it so much fun. Yeah. Like, I have a character that'll come out after the next 4 characters already pretty much ready to rock. And the 3rd character dropping is named Lena. And I based a lot of Lena's personality behind my daughter. and things like Lena's in the book is a little older than my daughter right now, but I was trying to like think ahead on how she will grow up and kind of like predict on what her personality would be.
Yeah.
So like it's fun writing on like who I think Lena will turn out to be, and dabbling little bits of reality in a fictional story is so much fun. Like I'll take personalities from my best friends and throw them in characters and like, just have fun with it. It's so much fun writing a book. It's exciting. It's something new to me, and it's something I've found a deep love for.
Yeah, I've never even thought about that, dude. But just the process of doing it sounds so awesome. Like that you could just create your own world and your own story and the backstory and however you want it to unroll. Like I'm really into to making content. And even ever since I was a kid, you know, I have my old video camera from high school, and we used to record skateboarding and stuff like that. And I remember editing from like two VCRs like that way, and have like a transition machine in the middle where you actually like fade it to and from, and I've always thought like, man, I want to take that to the next level. Like I really want to create my own like short film, and write out the whole story and then just break it up. But then life comes, and just like you got a lot of responsibilities going on. So how do you balance real life versus the life that you're trying to create?
Yeah, we mentioned it earlier. It's hard to balance. Like there's times, and I found with this new adventure, I'm able to step away because there's no timeline. Like I have, everything scheduled out on when I want to release things and how I want to move. But really, like 5 o'clock strikes, I don't mind putting down, turning off my computer, depending on the crunch time, because there are busy seasons.
Yeah. I
don't mind picking back up tomorrow. That's something I learned. It's because I was working way too hard to maintain a family. I would lose them if I continued to do what I did, content, because I was doing YouTube and I was trying to film every day, and it's a tough balance because you want to put out content, but I think in preparation and in strategy you can find a balance. Like as long as you come with a strategy, I've found that with strategies can make all aspects of life a little better.
Do you ever feel like that maybe some of your the things that you eat or consume, or getting sleep or anything like that, does that have any effect on you being able to push throughout the whole day? And have you made changes to like your life?
So like I think from a water perspective, I started drinking a lot more water, and it's crazy. Like I can tell days that I didn't drink enough water. Like I last longer in a day with being hydrated. And I'm a heavy fan of Amp. You guys don't have it out here.
Amp? No, what is that?
It's Mountain Dew energy drink.
Oh, okay.
And it's like all my friends know it's like my fuel. Like if they don't have it, we got some problems.
Yeah.
and I'm always I have like 1 amp in the morning. Then I'll drink like seltzer water all day. But it's been I've been slowly getting healthier due to my wife, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I don't think us men think about. We're just like tacos.
Yeah. I'm like, no, you're right, dude. Like, and the reason I say that is because sometimes when my diet's not the best, or I'm focusing more on caffeine, like that, my productivity level definitely is affected by that kind of stuff. Now, you don't feel like the energy drinks slows you down? No, because
for some reason Amp is the only thing that really balances me.
Got you.
Like I tried coffee and tried to like go down that road, and it was like, I don't know, I think I would crash a little earlier, but Amp kind of gets me going, and I'm just happier. I'm just a happy guy.
Yeah, that's good, dude. So, how do you shut down at the end of the night?
It depends on the season. Like recently it's been hard because I was trying to do that animation, and it like animation's for me, it's new to me. It's very hard for me. It's a lot. You have to build a whole world in 3D, depending on how you do it. But I built a whole world. I'll show you. Like I have videos of like behind the scenes of like literally every tree is, virtual but physical. Like I sculpted a tree and set a geometry node to spread them out over a piece of land, and basically every piece that you see is built. The grass was built, the flowers were built, all modeled in. I usually model in ZBrush, and I use Blender right now for animation. So like, it's a long process, and it is a very tedious process. Yeah. But I'm getting better. I'm learning more. I just started animating right before my son was born, so like 8 months.
Oh, okay.
And I've seen myself like slowly improving, and a lot of things, like what I've learned is if you have the right process, it makes the workflow a lot more streamlined. Like a good friend of mine is a professional animator, motion graphics guy, and he was able to really kind of look at my process and like break some things down, and also show me ways to improve. And it's really cool. As soon as you learn like the right process, it's almost like working smarter. You know?
Yeah. So with the animation, what software is it that you use again?
It's Blender. Yeah, okay. It's a free too. So like if anyone ever wanted to get, like if you wanted to animate the Downstar logo, and have it break into crumbs and like have a fraction, like break into like rocks. Yeah. It's not hard to follow. Like I found tutorials that really helps you really do anything you want. Like I've had like I made a scene of Inue breaking out of a rock and he flying around. And like if you look at that scene for what it is, it looks like he's flying through clouds and all this stuff. But really, it's just you assign properties to a sphere. And you basically have Inue almost standing, like moving still, and just very little
everything
movement.
Else moving.
I have everything else moving, and the camera's moving. So a lot of times, like in animation for me and the last few projects I worked on, like it once you find the right process, it really helps you out. I'm like, he don't need to run. He need to look like he's running. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's awesome, bro. I've always wanted to learn how to do that. You know, I've always wanted to learn how to do is make beats too.
Yeah. My buddy Paul, man, he's a magician. Yeah. He's so good. I'll show you the song after this. It's pretty cool.
That's so dope, dude, that you're just like so into creating and you're just making it happen too. Like I was saying, so the stuff that you do it's not just like regular stuff. It looks really, really good.
It's crazy. What's crazy is the opportunities that we were presented in like the last year. And as soon as I transitioned of like letting go, that's when everything started to fall in place. And like that's why even when I want to hold on and take control, I'm like, oh my goodness, like just relax and these things will work out, because I found literally when I started to like, all right, I'm just going to let things fall into place from now on. And things really started to fall in place. We got these opportunities. Like we did a Vibram collab a few weeks ago.
Yeah, with the shoes, right? Yeah, I saw that, dude. Let's break that down.
That came from a conversation I had on Clubhouse. Like I was talking to a friend and I forget what happened. Oh, he wanted me to be on a podcast. And I was like, oh, absolutely. When we chopped it up. And after the podcast, we talked for like an hour more. Okay. And he was telling me, I was like, I want to know about you. Like, what do you do? He was a shoe designer. He works for Vibram. And then we just built a relationship. And that's what's so cool. It's like, if you lead with good intentions, meet great people, like things really fall in place. And then a few weeks later, he's like, yeah, you want to design a shoe? I'm like, yeah. What's cool is like, it is always my intention to bring as much of me into a product that is possible and really crush it. Like it is not a competition. It is I just get fired up for something like creation. And I was talking to my team when we got the opportunity, because they were saying, we're going to give you an all white 5-finger shoe and we just want you to paint on it. Right. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm looking, researching ideas and trying to draw inspiration and really mood board some stuff. And I was like, you know what? I was like, we could probably scan this in and model around the shoe. And my team was like, why don't you, what if they don't want that? I'm like, I don't care. I was like, I want to make this as cool as possible.
So, but sorry to cut you off. No, so they gave you the shoe to make a design on, and what was the whole purpose for? Yeah. They were just going to put it on their socials, or
they wanted to lead, which is really cool. Like I am a huge fan of Vibram.
Got you.
After working with them, they are a beautiful company with great people behind them. And I say that whole, like we didn't we have no reason to say that. Like, they were awesome people, and they wanted to promote creative because they were putting out an all white shoe.
Got you. Okay.
Which is dope. Like, they picked 5 artists around the world, and was like, just have fun. And when I talked to them, I was like, how crazy can I get? Like, I was like, you guys got 3D models of this thing? I was like, I was like, because if I had a 3D model, I could easily model around it.
Gotcha.
And they're like, I don't think we can get that to you. I don't think they were allowed to, honestly. Yeah. Because it's probably their IP. Yeah. And so me and my buddy scanned it in using software, and was able to get it close enough. And then it was such a fun, crazy process. And my wife was like, I've never seen you more stressed out about a project. Really? Yeah, because we had 30 days to do it. And just the modeling and figuring out how I'm going to do that alone took well over like 2.5, 3 weeks. And like, just figure, how do you scan this in and attach something to it? Like an original shape. And we scanned it in, I started modeling, and then also make the design cool. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't want to just throw anything on there. And I tried to think of like, how do I take Vibram, which is an innovative company, because they have a 5-finger shoe. That's, to most people, that's a very outside the box idea. Yeah. And I was like, where we bring our story into. And I thought about the concept of like, all right, the story, the kid falls through the clouds. If that's his first interaction into this world, I'm like, all right, we'll start with clouds at the bottom, and we'll make a design that shows transition of him transitioning into this creature. And on the strap, it had 3 Inue heads that represented the past, present, and future. Because when you're going into a transitional period and a new season of your life, you most of the time you question those things, your past, present, and future. It's like, I don't know what this means. I don't know, was what I did back then, got me here, or did I do good enough? And then the future is like, I don't know what the future is. So like, we were able to curate this narrative through the shoe, and it was fun. It was like very fun, like playing around with shape. And once we got close enough, I was like, oh, this is gonna work. I was like, this is gonna be sick. Yeah. So it was a good experience, and had a lot of, I think we had like 10 to 12 failures of trying to get the sole right. And literally within like 2 days left, I was like, this sole is not coming out. Like, I kept, the sole was 3D printed just because it wasn't a production type. I was like, we're going to 3D print the sole. I'll smoothen it out. And I was trying to get it as smooth as possible. And I had to run a lot of science experiments. I'm like, oh, that didn't work. That didn't work. That didn't work.
It was like with acetone or what?
Yeah, I did it. Well, acetone didn't work. Tried to sand it, but like, I didn't like the way it looked. And I've sanded it. I've sanded 3D models in the past. And because of the scale, I couldn't make it out of resin. So usually, like, if I needed something like of a finished product, I'll use resin. And it was just too big. It was too big, and I was gonna break it into pieces, and just running through. Yeah. How like when we have a product idea, I'm like, all right, how am I gonna manufacture this? Like, what is the process and the way, the proof of concept. But we got it, like, and it came out good. And I learned, what's cool is like through experiments, you learn for the next time. I'm like, you need something, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. So it was we were able to get it done on time. We made, provided content, and it was a fun experiment. But again, that all came from just allowing the journey to be placed, to just follow your journey and not really try to get ahead of yourself, and just meet cool people, be genuine, ask, like, don't always put self, like for me, like, don't put self in everything. Like, what are you up to? Like, what do you do? And how do you, what is your creative journey? What, like, let me know more about you, rather than trying to promote yourself for me all the time. Like instead of just trying to like, hey, this is what I do, this is my brand, could you please, support?
Yeah. Brady, we got to take our first break for our sponsor, Heel Toe Auto. An important part in buying Honda parts online is making sure that you can trust the company that you're dealing with to get you the right parts reliably. You're spending a lot of money and spending a lot of time researching your build. The last thing that you want to do is send cash to a website where you may never see it again, and worse yet, never see the parts. Guys, I'm sure that some of you have went through this, and you might be going through it right now. There's a lot of companies online that will just take your money and not ship you the stuff, and then blame it on the company and say, oh man, they're on back order, and just play with your money, play with your emotions. and it's whack when they do that, man. Heel Toe won't do that because they have 18-year history track record in the Honda community, and that's part of the deal. Heel Toe brings you deep industry connections, professional part recommendations, alternative ideas when your parts aren't available, and they'll even contact you if something looks out of the ordinary before it ships. That's so good, man, because it takes somebody that knows what you're ordering, what you're trying to do, and say, hey, this dude's profile, because you can make your own profile on there. This dude profile, it says an EG, but he just ordered TSX suspension. So let me call him up, and maybe he just doesn't know what he's doing, and they'll take care of that for you, man. Heel Toe's unique checkout allows you to select a deadline to receive your parts to make sure that you get them right in time for your project plans. That's huge too, because I have people who call me all the time, hey man, I need a bolt kit, I need to get it done, and I need to have it done by Wednesday. I'm like, bro, it's Tuesday, Wednesday's tomorrow, what do you want me to do, teleport over there? I could if I would, but I can't, so I won't, bro. But maybe Marcus can. He's been around longer than I have, so maybe he knows something that I don't. He knows those like those tunnels from the Mario Kart, drop off the parts for you. But anyway, you can buy parts anywhere online, but Heel Toe knows what truly matters to an enthusiast: professionalism, swiftness, accuracy, and likes on Instagram. Just kidding, I put that. But Heel Toe is in your corner. Make sure you guys check them out at heeltoeauto.com, or you can call or text them at 949-295-1668. And please check them out on Instagram at Heel Toe Automotive. And please just shoot them a DM and tell them, dude, I heard you guys on Downtime with Downstar. Sick, bro. Thank you guys for supporting them, because without them, I wouldn't do this shit no more. If it wasn't for Heel Toe, if it wasn't for Marcus, I'll say, bro, fuck this podcast. I'm outro. Now back to the pod. Yeah, it's got to be definitely hard to get into that aspect of things, like coming from like the YouTube space.
Yeah.
You know, because that's just solely about self-promotion.
Yeah.
You know, I want to grow my channel. This is my apparel, and you know, it's just like a trap that you get stuck in.
Yeah, and I hear you. I mean, I was even struggling this week because you know, we're in a little bit of a better situation than last time. And I was like, hey, I was like, I don't want to flex. Yeah. Like, I was like, that's not me anymore. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't want to, like, if we have nice things or a nice opportunity, I want to come from a pure place, regardless on how big it is, how big the opportunity is, because it just shows me, and it shows like anything's literally, if you make good product, anything's possible. Like how we got this network deal was, we just like simply reached out to him. My buddy, my partner, my team member reached out. He was like, "Oh, we should get on network." And I was like, I don't know. I was like, it's fine. Like, just reach out to them. If they get back to us, I'll have the conversation. And they got back to me, and then I was able to talk to them. And it was just like yeah, sure. Like literally, I was like, all right, I got to pitch this now, and because they wanted to have a Zoom call, and literally, you know, I was breaking it all down, our you know, our business model and what we do, what we like to provide, that we're creators, storytellers. We lead with narrative, and they're like, yeah, I see no reason why this won't work. And I was like, really?
Wow.
I was like, that's cool.
So can you break down to us what network is?
Yeah. So it is a multimedia shopping platform that I think I read it yesterday that blends commerce and entertainment. I'm pretty sure that's on their website. But yeah, so basically it is an application. A lot of people say it's like the modern QVC for our generation.
Okay.
Where you go on there, it's a shopping experience. And what's cool is like with QVC, like back in the day, you used to watch like, but wait, there's more.
Yeah. and it was in black and white, dude. Yeah. And somebody like, do you ever have this problem when you're drinking water and you're just like, ah! Yeah, exactly. This is the first time you ever drink, bro? What's going on?
Yeah, that's so good. But it's cool because what got me intrigued is who they're working with. Like, I'm like, man, you guys are really moving. And I started doing research on them because from afar, you appreciate the product and the service they're providing, but like when they're going to host your product, then you do a little bit more research. And they've worked with great people. I mean, they've worked with everyone that's...
Yeah, I've heard them from Ben Baller.
Yeah, they've worked with like Billie Eilish, Travis Scott, Murakami, which like that is what got me. I was I was like, that's my dude right there. Like I'm a big fan of him. And he's an artist from Japan. I'm not sure if...
yeah.
Okay. And
he was at a Complex Con.
Yeah.
That's like kind of his thing, right?
Yeah. I think, well, I don't know. I know he goes to Complex. I don't know much about kind of like, what his, I know where he's at all, I know he went to Complex Con and a few other trade shows, and he does amazing work. So, but yeah, we had the conversation, and everything kind of started to work out together, and I was like, man, this is cool. This could be, I'm going in with medium expectations. I know I tried and I gave it my all. So regardless on what the outcome will be, I'm proud.
Yeah,
I'm ready. Though, do I have? Do I get nervous about it? Of course. I'm like, it's tomorrow. Like I got like last night. I was freaking out. The kid was like, "You're gonna be good." I'm like, I hope so.
Nah, you definitely do good, dude. This product is awesome, and just everything that you've been working on, man. I'm excited to see it come out. Yeah. So what's actually gonna happen tomorrow?
So the way their platform works is you do film, and it's a live stream that they film and you shop during. But what's cool is they're gonna have they have a chat that you can interact with me directly during your shopping experience. Okay. So I will be there live on set in their studio filming.
Wow.
For the product release, which is really cool. Like you're able to interact with like your supporters and have communication and dialogue about the product and kind of show off the work and really provide detail from the source. You know what I mean? Like instead of like you just go on the website and you see it, which is awesome too. Like I'm going to be able to talk to you and like directly communicate. So that's what we're doing tomorrow.
Very cool. And you have to get the app for that, right?
Yeah. You got to download the app and set up an account, and it's really easy. Cause I it's one of those things like it's weird. Like I don't know if you feel this way, but I hate downloading apps.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know why. It's like even like free apps. I'm like,
I don't even have Amazon app. I'll just go to the website. My wife gets mad at me all the time.
I do the same thing.
It's the same shit. I just put it in here. Leave me alone.
Yeah, and it's just because it's like one more app to manage.
Yeah,
but it's super easy to set up. You set up through your phone number. So you just pop in your phone number, add your payment. I think I added my PayPal.
Gotcha.
And then just boom, 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 done. And then it's super easy to use.
So they're going to have the book for sale?
So the book is going to be on our website.
Yeah.
And
which is free. You can look at it on the website. Now, but is there going to be a physical?
For sale now.
Okay.
Yeah. So for sale, for the physical, we're going to do something extremely special.
Gotcha.
That we're going to kind of let it play out. It's almost like it's a Easter egg.
Got you.
One of those things where it's you have to kind of find out how to get the book.
Okay, got you. Yeah. Now, what about this, dude? When is this going to be available? So this is so sick. Bro.
Yeah, so that is what's dropping tomorrow on network. So it is going to be the first figure of our story, which is really, really awesome.
How? What's the size of that one?
That's 6 inches.
The one that's releasing.
Yeah, that is. Oh,
this one.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah. So that's made out of rotocasted vinyl. It was a fun journey on how to go about production.
Yeah.
Because there's always so many different avenues to go, and I was able to find how to really provide a good quality and find what works the best and like what is the highest industry standard on like finding like really our packaging. Like the boxes are like an Apple box. It's like it has like suction cups. Like
really,
yeah, it's really sweet. And it comes with as just for the certificate for COA, the certificate of authentication is a trading card.
Okay.
So like you open the box and you see this card on top of the packaging detail with like a little strap, and you'll have like a trading card of Inue that has like 1 out of 100, 2 out of 100, 300, or 3 out of 100, etc. And then you get your figure and you kind of go through the process. It's a fun experience. I don't want to spoil and like tell you all the details, but there's a lot of things we put in place on. I just thought of like what would get me so excited. Like I'm already excited to get the figure. What would be cool to like when you find certain elements and you go through the packaging and you're like, man, I was like, oh.
Small details.
Yeah,
dude.
So it's really, really cool. And there's nothing, I tried to think of every angle and all, like the process of unveiling and really bring in a quality, because like there's certain companies that really, like Apple, like when you get your Apple product, you're like, oh, it's so satisfying. You take out the perfect zip, it's like, and then so I really wanted to lead with like a fun customer experience.
Now, when how many are being released?
So we're doing an edition of 100, and what's cool about this, like I said earlier, this was created in the process of kind of closing the end of the Unite Because chapter. So like a lot of the packaging detail says because on it. The figure has it's stamped on the bottom, and it's going to be the only figure that will ever have that. It's the last Unite Because product technically.
Got it.
And which is so special to me, because it's just such a transitional period in my life. Like, it is something where I found how to really balance my family and really like fall in love with quality and find a new life on how to like really balance my expectations and like be happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I made emotional shirts all the time, but it was mostly because I was like feeling that.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's like, to me, it signifies so much more, and that's why to me it's so special to me. Like, it is the last product that I will ever have that logo on there.
How does that make you feel, like that chapter is done?
I like it because it's growth. Like I went through many years of trying to make something work, and now I feel like I got something that will work. Mm-hmm. And so like it's almost like this one I really don't have to force. I find that just from my friends' reactions, or even we were able to get a few Inues in a local store near our area, and like the look on their face when I gave the figure to them, they were like, man. Again, they see figures all the time. Like, it was in a local pop shop, and like they have really cool figures, and like it was just cool. Is like we set out to have, like, I wrote down some goals, and like I look back and like though it didn't happen exactly on how I wrote it, like I was like, I want to get this figure in this store, and I want it in stores, and I want it here, and I want to do this, and like slowly but surely, like a different version of that came true, and it's really cool. But their reaction of when they opened it was genuine, because they see quality, and they see what figures come in, and that they're well versed in that industry, and it was really cool to see that their reaction.
Now, was it hard to be able to come out with something of this quality? Did you have to go through a lot of samples and factories?
Yeah, well, no, we were blessed. I mean, we were blessed to find the right factory. Like, it's one thing. I was just talking to, we had a studio visit with my homie Fern. Mm-hmm. He's in Inglewood, and super dope artist. Mm-hmm. Check him out. I'm gonna tag you.
Yeah,
shout out to him.
What's his Instagram?
Fern, what is it? 24 Fern.
24K _.
He's so dope. Like, he's a dope person. Dope products. Like
24K _ Fern.
24K _ Fern.
Fern. Okay.
Fern, FERN.
Got you.
And we were talking about, we're in the same industry. He was talking about his struggles and some of the stuff he's gone through on trying to make his product as good as possible. And we were chopping it up, and luckily I really didn't have to go through that with this run. It was a smooth process. Everything, the factory we were working with was just a blessing. They were very nice, very easy to work with. Like, there was times where, I mean, I'm so particular. I'm like, can I see it in different lighting? I'm like, let me see a few different shades, Pantones, and I'm like, you're just like super, super particular. I'm like, you missed that, that has that, and I'm like, oh my god. But literally, because especially we had a plush doll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
A plush doll sample from the same place, and it was to the point where they said, Ryan, no more change. Like, you can't ask for more changes. I swear to you. And they're just so nice to me. I'm like, because I can be crazy when it comes to product.
Yeah.
I just want it to be cool, and I want it to be like as special as possible. And I have I have a certain way I want things when it comes to product, and I just want to provide the best I can possibly do.
Mm-hmm. Now, so once you stopped did you create like a whole new social media for it, or?
No, so it's funny because when I shut down, when I started to kind of realize that Unite Because wasn't going to be what almost was inevitable not to be the brand that I was moving forward with. Mm-hmm. A good friend of mine was like, you need to make an artist name. And he was like, it could be like Ryan Inue. And I'm like, all right. I was like, that's weird. Because he was like, be an artist, don't be a business. Like, you are an artist. Because I'm just in a different industry now. It's not led by an overarching brand. It is me, the artist.
Yeah.
And during that time, this was like around where my son was born. So 8 months ago. And we're just like, for the last 8 months, we're like, up to like 2 months ago, we were really just figuring it out. And we got help from a lot of special people to help us organize our thoughts and really come up with a strategy. But during that time, he was like, come up with like Ryan Inue. And I was like, that sounds horrible. I was like, that just doesn't ring. And I was thinking, I was like, man, so my middle name's Juanito. And I was like, man, my grandfather's name was always Nito. And I was like, that'd be dope to like, because he's no longer with us. And I was like, I'd be so sick to have him in this, because he is the original creator of our family. Like he was musically gifted. He was ridiculous, a guitar player. He was always drawing random doodles. He was the first artist I met really in life, except for my mother. And I was like, that'd be cool. I was like, and then I was like, Nito Inue. I was like, that kind of sounds cool. I was like, I like that. And long story short, over time, we came up with a strategy, because Nito Inue is almost like the artist name, but the business is Nito Studio, because we want to branch into film. We want to branch into books. Like, I want to be able to put out Avador after Inue. So like, I'm thinking we're going to do probably like a 7-year run with Inue and like put out books. Because we have like, every issue is like a chapter of a book, and we're going to put out, we want to get to like 3 volumes of the book. So it's going to be, years in the making, multiple figures of a nice, fun, long run, and hyper focused on the story. But afterwards, I do want to get to Avador, the original book I wrote about that father and daughter, because I think it's just such a beautiful story. I think that story is so easy to write for me, because I'm so close to my daughter. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, I know exactly how I would feel if like the world was like with monsters in it, and she wanted to go out and play, but she's never been out and she doesn't go out often. I'm gonna figure out how to kind of make that happen, and like, but there's gonna be like, all their robots protecting her and trying to figure out that balance. So that's one story I really, really want to write down the road, and it's already mostly written. But after writing Inue and the Book of Inue, I've realized that to write a book, there's so many levels of character development, the hero's journey. Like, I did a lot of research on like, there's a book called The Hero's Journey, and it shows that all these heroes of our favorite movies go through a lot of the same patterns, and you can really write a story to that and like figure out how to provide a nice curve of experiences where it's like going lows and then all the way to the climax, and they're on top, and then they get beat down, and they come back, and then they go home.
Yeah.
So
wow, that's such an exciting journey, dude.
Yeah.
So has all of this kind of taken over from your passion for cars?
Yeah, it has, because it's hard to balance. It's hard to balance both. Like, I tried to balance cars, and I just focus solely, because it's expensive to invest in production and all the production equipment we need, and computer parts. Like with animation, I had to build a computer, build a PC, and I started with like mediocre stuff, and like now I got the best stuff I can get nowadays, because the miners take all the GPUs and I can't get one.
Yeah.
So are you familiar with that?
No, what is that?
So a graphics card is a component in the
I know the graphics card.
So it's impossible to get a good GPU right now, because of the Bitcoin miners.
Oh, because everybody's mining.
They just take them all.
Really?
But luckily, my freaking homie, I found his business, and he's a newfound friend, and he literally got me one in 2 days.
Oh, wow.
With not me overpaying that much. Like like your average graphics card is like $600-700. I'm not quite sure the retail because all I see them for is $1,300-1,400-1,500.
Okay, got you.
And he sold me one for a really reasonable price. I forget the exact amount, but I was like, yo, I was like, you are a lifesaver, because it was last week when I was animating, and he came in clutch. I was like, dude, I'm not rendering fast enough, because I was timing out my renders, and I was like, all right, one render takes like, let's just say 8 hours, give or take. And I'm like, that's one scene. And I'm like, I got like 12 scenes, and I'm like, I got 10 days. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do this. I was like, it's impossible. I was like, we're not going to finish this. So he came in clutch, and I wish I need to grab my phone so I can shout him out. But he came in so clutch for me. Like, I rebuilt my whole computer, God willing, and like I was able to sell my old stuff for more than I bought it for.
Oh shit!
And I was like,
yeah.
what? And so I rebuilt my whole computer and then got back to work, and like literally within one day, and I was like back online.
So what did it cut the rendering down to?
It literally took a frame used to take like a minute or so, and it went to like 15 seconds.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So and then at that point I was just like, because like what I'll do is I'll create a scene, and then make sure everything looks good, and it'll be rendered, and then I'll set and schedule render times. So like I'll animate during the day, and then once that 5 o'clock strikes, 6, whatever I need to go down to cook dinner for the family, I'll set that time to render out. So then I'll just schedule renders, and basically like all night I'll wake up, like I'll put a timer on, like, all right, this one's 1 minute and 32 seconds, and there's 230 frames. I'll do the math, and I set a timer, and then like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I'll go run upstairs and click the next file, and then go back downstairs. So that was like the last couple of weeks. I was just like, just trying to get it as done as fast as possible, working hard, and just trying to like really do some cool stuff, man. I'm gonna show you the video after this. Yeah. It's gnarly because it brings reality. It starts off in our studio, and it goes into the book, and then the book like spins and then goes into animation. So like it like pulls you from reality into this world visually. Like,
got it. So were you pretty good with video editing before that?
Yeah, well, because of YouTube, man. Yeah, like that's one thing. Like, don't ever judge. Like for me, I don't want to judge any season of my life, because you never know when it's going to pay dividends down the road. Like because I edited so much, and had to hustle in YouTube. Now when I'm like creating animations, I'm like after all the renders are done, everything's composited, and all the like special effects are applied. Editing, I'm like, yo, what do you mean?
So did you used to use Final Cut or what?
I used to use Final Cut back when I was doing like the YouTube grind. Now I am a huge fan of Premiere Pro, because there is a certain level that you can bring it to. Like at surface level, I like Final Cut. It's quicker because I know the commands better. Yeah. But like Premiere, you can really enhance. And it is like, my buddy's a professional editor. Okay. Same thing with the motion graphics guy. He does work for Pepsi, the Olympics. Like he's doing a project with RevZilla right now. And he is top tier human being, wizardry. Gotcha. And he showed me some, shortcuts that he's like, dude, just hit this button. I'm like, well, I didn't know that one. Yeah. He was like, just press M. And I'm like, I was like, how do I do this? He's like, press M twice. I'm like, all right.
So what kind of benefits did you notice with Premiere? Mm-hmm. Like what are some examples that you can say that would be better than Final Cut?
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of color grading's easier for me, even though he mentioned that DaVinci Resolve is starting to take over his workflow, but I just don't know that process. And just file management is something I really learned recently. I used to be a little bit of a hot mess when it comes to file management, but organizing your files in the front end helps you on the back end. On like, all right, I got these shots. I know exactly how long I need them to be. And just basically just really running through. And also the main thing is I'm working off a PC now. I don't have MacBooks anymore because I used to be all Apple guy. Yeah. Like Apple everything. And then you build a PC that's like freaking a monster. Yeah. Like it's like last night I was editing like a minute video for Instagram, and I was like, I talked to Kid. I was like, I wonder how quick this will go, because literally my PC is like, and I'm like, it's done. Wow. And this my MacBook's like, ding, ding,
No way.
Like, yo, I was like, I'm used to fast speeds now.
Yeah.
I'm spoiled.
Yeah, that's one thing that bothers me with Final Cut, and it's probably because I have the Mac too.
Yeah.
Just all together is just that when I'm editing a video, like these podcasts, they go for, hour and a half or so, 2 hours.
Yeah.
You're talking about like 12, 14 gigs.
Yeah.
And it'll take probably a good 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, you might. I mean, we'll talk off. Dude, to get a PC built is not expensive, not hard to learn. Being a car guy, like I'm like, there's labels on, so like you plug that in here, it says it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like it's not hard at all. And there's literally less components of a car. Like there's more components in a car than a PC.
Yeah.
Like, there's like maybe 10 things.
Yeah.
Granted, I always lead with like, I am not a tech guy. I'm just a creative that kind of knows enough to like, BS in my way around. But yeah, I suggest honestly build a PC. It allows you to literally fly through anything that was process draining or hard to process.
Yeah.
Especially I use this program to to superimpose Inue with me. So you ever seen the picture of like me walking with Inue?
Yes.
So I use this program called, there's many ways to do it, but for how I did that specific one, it's called Dimensions.
Okay.
It's an Adobe product. And dude, renders in like high definition used to take 45 minutes on my MacBook. And literally it's like freaking seconds. It's like, I was like,
it's like back in the day when you used to download music, dude.
I was like, yeah, exactly. But now it's easy. Like once you get the right equipment, everything becomes easier. And then you can stop thinking about the process and just think about the creative side. And that's what I always try to do is like try to find the easiest process. So that way I can focus on like how much, like what is the return on investment on this specific discipline, whether it's creating content, like how often should I make a video that gives me just the right amount of return. Anything more gives me the same, anything less gives me a little less. You know what I mean? Like you can make a video a day. For me, like this is what I've experienced. I used to make videos like literally almost every day, and the return versus making it 3 times a week was the same. So like why at that point, like why wouldn't I sit there and measure like, all right, let me find that perfect teetering, because then it allowed me to open up like, all right, now I can spend time in bettering development.
That's funny that you say that, because that's exactly where I'm at with the podcast right now.
Yeah.
When we used to do 2 episodes a week, maybe one wouldn't get any traction, and then it's a lot of pressure because the podcasts are just the physical act of doing the podcast is an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Takes a lot out of your
plus
day.
Editing it, promoting it, doing everything for that twice a week, dude. That was so much work, and it started to get to a point where I'm like, man, this isn't even fun anymore. This is turning into another obligation, just like everything else that I do, just like cars, just like my business. It's just turning into another obligation, and this is something that I really enjoy doing. So I had to take off the throttle a little bit, and ever since I did that, every episode that we drop now is just like a banger. That's right awesome, out, man. Dude.
That's so good. Yeah, dude. When you find that balance, it's like a shift in season where you're like, oh, I figured out my rhythm. Like everything's in rhythm. Our whole lives are in a rhythm, and when you're off rhythm, what you want to happen doesn't happen, or it happens and then it stops happening, and it's off rhythm. Yeah. But when you find your rhythm, you're able to live in that pocket and really just keep moving and finding your own way. That's what's so cool. Like even like right now, I'm as healthy as possible, mentally, physically, and spiritually, because I found my rhythm. Really, like there's times where I know my family needs me, so I'll take the weekend off. Like I'm like, all right, I know. Like this last weekend, I spent Saturday and Sunday with my family, no work. Granted, the work was done. Yeah. But because I know, I was like, all right, I'm going to LA next week. I was like, I know, my wife's with my two kids right now, so it's like it's a lot, man. Yeah, it's a lot definitely. For women, and my daughter, I love her to death, but she is a 7-year-old. Yeah. She's a bit sometimes of a handful, and I love her to death, but so I know what she's going through, and that's why I want to take that time and find that balance. And I think men, like, I take it for granted all the time. I'm like, she be good. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna work. You know, she knows I'm doing this for the right reasons. But there's a balance where I'm like, oh man, I was like, I really need to chill out.
Yeah.
Not because I want to, but because I need to, and she needs help, and I need to be there for my family, because my daughter could care less about if I'm successful. She wants her freaking father.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Like, that's just about the bottom line. She doesn't care. She loves Inue more than anyone in this world, and that's where it ends for her.
Yeah.
She doesn't care if anyone likes it. She just wants me. And like, that's why I spend time. And like, we go to the especially when she's off school, we go to the skate park every night.
Oh, no way.
Every night, yeah.
Oh, dude, hell yeah.
And she's a ripper, man. So she's scootering.
Nice.
And skating at the same time. She likes scootering better because she can control it better.
Got you.
And it's easier, and she can rip on a scooter.
Yeah.
So like, you know, when things come easier, you want to do the easiest stuff. So she's scootering, and she can drop into like 8-foot half pipes.
No way.
Easily. Yeah, she tried to drop in on a skateboard alone without any warm up, any practice. Nor it was like the first few times going this year. I'm like, Lena.
Oh my God.
We haven't even gone over this.
Yeah.
And she just went for, I'll show you the videos. She went for it. And I think if she is used to scootering, so like when she drops in on right on the crease, she puts her foot down to push on her scooter, and she put her foot down on a skateboard, and you just can't do that because your legs, you know, you'll do a karate split.
Yeah.
That's what happened. But then she tried 4 or 5 times, and she was like, oh, okay. You know, no hard feelings. She was like, I didn't get it, but I'll try again later. And she just wanted to move on.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Dude.
So it's I love it's like skating provides a balance to my life, because it allows me to spend time with my daughter, have fun, and really just like be in the moment. Because like, my skate homies are freaking awesome, because we go to the skate park with no intentions of just, let's just have a good time, enjoy our company. Like, I'm not here to promote. I'm not here to have an agenda. I'm just here to shred and possibly not die.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's take another break for our sponsor, Action Clutch. One of the most critical parts to any build is the clutch. Without a proper clutch, you won't be able to get that power to the wheels. No one wants to spend hundreds of dollars on a clutch that won't hold their power for more than a few races or spirited drives. That's why it's important to go with a kit that you know you can count on, and that's why many people choose Action Clutch over the competition. Action Clutch makes kits here in the USA with material sourced locally in Los Angeles. Action Clutch has kits from OEM replacements all the way to 1200 plus horsepower, and can be found everywhere from street cars to drag cars to even Formula Drift vehicles. Not only are they made in the USA, but Action Clutch has made a strong focus this year to give back a percentage of sales to the community during these hard times, providing impacted families with groceries and other necessities. Big shout out to you guys for that, man, for giving back to the community. Not many people do that. Action Clutch does, and I love that. And that's why we're super excited to be aligned with them. So if you guys need anything from them, you can always contact them at actionclutch.com. And if you don't see what you need, you can always give them a call at 323-269-6051, or you can shoot them a DM on Instagram at actionclutch, or you can email them if you want to do that, sales at actionclutch.com. And if you do need something, make sure you use the code DTWD for 15% off. Big shout out to Action Clutch. Eric, that's my guy. He's on his hustle, man. And we're really lucky to have him in our community, man. Make sure you guys check out Eric. I forget his Instagram. I think it's Eric Noches, ERIKNOCHES. I hope that's correct, but you'll be able to find him from Action Clutch Instagram. But they're killing it, man. Big shout out to Action Clutch. Thank you guys for sponsoring this episode of Downtime with Downstar, and shit like 100 before this. And let's get back to the show, guys. Yeah. I feel you, dude. And I've been getting back into skateboarding a lot in the last couple years, dude, and it's just like brought me so much more joy into my life. Yeah, and it's crazy, dude, because I
feel like you're better than what you show, though. I have a feeling. I know you can't. No,
I'm not good. I'm better than I was when I was a kid. But I always tell people, like, no one wants to see me succeed, dude. They just want to see me fail. So it's all good. I'll show the bails.
No, because the only way I realized that is when you did that long round.
Yeah, with the kink.
Yeah. I was like, that's a lot harder than anyone would give credit for. And I was like, he basically pretty much got it. I think, did you end up
I did, but I posted like a week later.
Yeah. So. And I was like, I think he's playing us. I'm not going to lie. I really think he's playing us.
Nah, dude, it's just like, I'm still trying to get comfortable with myself again and trying to figure out like what I was doing wrong in the past.
Yeah.
Because the way that I think of it now is more of like the ability and the physics and the pressure that I would have to push this way. The board's going to go this way. So I'm thinking about it a lot differently than when I was a kid. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, I was like, okay, well, I just do this, press this, and then maybe I'll land it every once in a while. Yeah. But now the way that I'm thinking more scientifically, dude, where I'm just like, okay, I got to have my feet like this. When I press this way, the board's I'm going to have to angle it a certain way. And then it just makes it a lot more fun doing it like that.
What's your go-to bag of tricks? Like, you go there, what is the first trick you do?
First thing, well, hopefully we go to the skate park later on today, dude. So we're gonna go later. So you'll see, dude. I got my stretch on. No,
yeah, I'll do it. Trust me, I'll do it.
I'll do like a quick little stretch, dude, and then just start pushing around just the park. Yeah. Just to just get like the spring back and stuff. And then it just depends on which park that I do go to. The one that we're gonna go to later on today, they have like a nice little ledge, which sucks because that's like where a lot of people kick it. So hopefully that nobody's kicking it right there. Okay. But what I've been practicing lately is just my 50-50s because I'm thinking of it differently now than I did in the past. Before, I was putting a lot more pressure on the front, and I was just noticing that wasn't giving me the balance that I needed. So now I shifted more to the back, and I'm figuring out the balance more. And I just want to be able to get to it to where, like, no matter what it is, if it's just a different size ledge, I'm just gonna have to push harder. But I know once I'm coming up to it that I'm gonna land on it.
Yeah, so that 180 out was clean.
Yeah, thanks,
like,
dude.
That was like I'm starting to see what you're doing here now. I was like, you're all right.
I'm trying, bro. And then my son, he's pushing me a lot too because
shred.
Yeah,
he's
so
cool
good,
about
dude.
That is like we saw as a like I'm a viewer, right?
Yeah,
we saw him as a younger man. Little man, I don't want to disrespect, but just start. Like the whole process was documented. Now he's shredded.
Yeah,
and I'm like, my man is getting
he's killing it, bro.
And he looks so dedicated, which like is so cool to see. You can tell he loves that, and that's like what I hope to experience as a father is like seeing, and I most like should happen. Like my son just invested in a practice. And seeing him work for these tricks, or even like it's a sport, and then find some success in that journey, like that's so cool to sit back and relax. And we got to see it. Like we saw what he started and didn't know how to ollie, and then now he's freaking kick flipping. And it's crazy.
It is. It's so dope, dude. Just looking back at it, like when I was younger, I wish I had a friend like him that I could go skate with. And now I do. Like when we go to the skate park, it's not like, oh, me and my son. It's me and my homie. And we're going to skate. And we're pushing each other, and he's trying something, then I'll try it, and then you just go into that groove, like who's gonna do it first. And then
how old is he?
He just turned 14.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
He's in the perfect age right now, dude.
He's in that fun age where you just don't care.
That's what I'm trying to tell him, man. I was breaking it down to him the other day. I said, bro, you're getting to the age where you probably have about a 4-year span where you can do whatever the hell you want to do. Find yourself. Don't have to worry about anything. Your responsibilities aren't anything really that much at all, just to keep like your room clean and your chores and your grades up. But as long as that's taken care of, go skate all day. I don't care, dude.
I loved
just realize that you only have this window, because once you turn 18, that's when stuff starts to get serious. It's a new chapter. So you're not going to be going to school anymore. Well, maybe you'll go to college. Whatever you're going to do, it's all going to change at that time. So from now till then, your like whole high school time, dude, just take advantage of it. Don't try to live like you're older. Don't try to be like the older kids. Just be you. Just have that innocence.
That's what's so cool. Like I remember when I was 14, I loved like 14 to like probably like that window. That window. It was so much fun. It was like 14, I was skateboarding and snowboarding all the time. And then just slowly got it. I started tattooing like early, like 17.
Oh wow,
that was like my first hustle, and that was like my first career, and like I worked in shops and I had fun, and like that was my first like dream, and but that was like all during that time. It was like finding these new avenues and finding yourself at such a young age, and you swear you're old, like you're older than you think, and you're like, I need to do this, and like I need to be better and the best, and you don't realize what it takes. You don't have no clue what it takes to be great. Like you have no measure on how to get to greatness, and like it's just really cool. But it's a fun age because like all you care about is having fun and like enjoying the time. There's no worries, and like just like I don't know, just a fun period in life. And I see that in your son, just like in the videos he posts. I'm like, man, these guys are having so much fun, and that's so awesome. It's amazing. I love it.
It is, dude, and I'm jealous of it, and I try to soak it up as much as I can, dude.
Yeah, because like he has only 4 years, you only have 4 years. So.
Exactly, dude. Yeah, and I want to spend that time with him as much as I can, and just try to stay out of my own way too. You know, one of my biggest problems that I have is that I'm never doing enough. Yeah. You know, there's always some improvements that can be done. There's always something that I need to be working on. And there's always this end goal that I know doesn't even exist. Yeah. I know it myself. I know that goal doesn't exist. I know once I reach that level that I think that is going to bring this magical happiness or whatever, that's the level I'm at right now, how I used to think 10 years ago. Yeah. I'm there now, and I still feel the hunger. So it's like a weird balance of being hungry and trying to like appreciate what you have and appreciate the time that you're in right now. And I'm still just trying to figure that out all the time. You know, like I'm my worst enemy. Yeah. I'm my worst critic all the time. Yeah. So do you ever feel anything like that?
Oh my goodness. One thing has sparked an idea of like you're always where you want to be without knowing it. Like where you want to be, you're living in. Yeah. And you never realize that. You never realize that because until you scroll up you look through your old songs and you're like, I was 16 spitting hot flames. What you mean? Yeah. You know, or designing stuff. And but you're your worst critic during that moment, and you're like, you know, you're picking yourself apart. And yeah, dude, I it's always hard to start. Like when I have a new project in front of me, that's when I feel it the most. Like from scratch, you're staring at a blank screen or blank piece of paper, and you're like, all right, I got 30 days to design a shoe. I don't have any ideas. Yeah. And then you're like, think. And that's when it's like, man, I am not good at this. But then like you start to work it out, and then you don't, again, every single project, I forget how hard the process is. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I look at this final product, but I never give myself the credit that it took me 2-3 years to develop that. And when I start a new project, I think I'm like, I should be great like immediately. You know, I've done this before, and I've developed new characters. And the last character I made, it's funny. I take pictures of like when it's barely started, and I'm like, man, I am trash at this. But then it starts to grow, and then you start to get into like a flow state of mind where you're like you're just moving, and you're moving with creativity in a very organic way. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, man, this is my coolest character yet. And you don't realize that because you always judge your current state. Like you're always judging or having your almost like measuring your performance every second of the day. When I had a conversation, did I say the right things? Did I tell them what I wanted to tell them, or over communicate, under communicate? Like I am always analyzing myself, and I'm like, did I say the right thing? And like, man, I think I said the wrong thing. I said, you know, I painted myself in a different light, and that's where I'm always trying to like measure and like make small adjustments, because like I am more so focused on like just being the best person I can be and like the best version of myself more than anything in the world. Like I'm like, you know, like how do I react when someone disrespects me or someone is mean to me? Like how I react is going to either prolong growth or give me an opportunity to make those corrections right now. And like if I feel disrespected, there's so many great ways to go about it, and having conversations and just kind of like just analyzing yourself and finding a balance on like try not to have that with everything, because you meet a guy at a gas station and he's talking to you and you're like, and then you drive home and you're like, did I say the right thing? I'm like, oh man, I don't know. Like, it's very hard. It's a hard balance. I struggle with that every day. Like, even I'm sure I'll leave here and I'm like, oh man, did I say the right things?
I think we both will, dude. But I mean, maybe that's just the pain of being a creative person, you know, just over analyzing, overthinking it, because you want to just have the best results.
Exactly. Like, that's all it comes down to, is like, I just want to be a good person and make cool stuff, and a lot of times I'm like, oh man, like I put too much self in it, and I just want, at the end of the day, I just want to be great in everything I do. And I'm a hypersensitive guy. Like, my feelings get hurt very easily. Yeah. Like, even my best friends will say something and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that was mean, man. All right? Yeah. You need to chill out. That wasn't nice.
Now let's talk about that, dude. How do you deal with that? Like, do you look at yourself and be like, dude, why are you such a fucking bitch about this stuff? Because I feel the same fucking way. Like, why does that bother me and it doesn't bother somebody else? What does it have to do? Why is that?
Yeah, it's cool because I always say I'm not very good at bro, like the bro talk, like the I'm gonna tear you down because you're my friend. I don't understand that concept. Like, if I'm your friend, like, let's build each other up. Like, I don't get on, like, when you call me a bad name, like, just because it's funny, like, and I don't think of the fact that like, I'm being a baby. I just, like, that, like, I'm here and I have a high expectations for the people around me, and if they are not willing to participate in my life, then I'm going to find those who will. So I don't ever look at it like, why am I overly sensitive? I'm overly sensitive because I have a high expectation for what I want out of life, and I know the people around me do as well. Like, my best friends have high expectations. They expect me to treat them a certain way and care for them in a certain way. So, like, I don't ever look at it like, man, you're stop being a baby. Certain situations where I'm sure there's times where I'm like way overreacting and I'm like, man, I should not feel this way, you know?
Yeah. I think it has a lot to do with culture as well. Yeah. You know, the way that you're brought up and how you're brought up, the people you're brought up around. Yeah. And it was just, sometimes it's just stuff just bothers me that really wouldn't bother other people. Yeah. And that bothers me. Yeah. You know, that I just can't shake things off sometimes. Yeah. Or it's like a bad interaction, or, you know, something random that really won't matter to somebody else. It really bothers me. And sometimes I just, like, try to figure out, like, why do I even react to that?
It's just not, I think you're brought up, like, my mom, it was like my best friend growing up, and she, like, led with love. And when you don't lead with love, like, I'm not used to it. Yeah. Like, when, like, my mom never tore me down, ever. Like, she never, when I would show her probably, like, you know, a child's drawing, she would give me critiques and push me and uplift me. And growing up as an adult, it's like, if you're not doing that, like, I'm cool on you. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm sure your parents were very supportive and, like, instilled some strong qualities that you do not tolerate in people that want to almost, like, play you. Like, I don't need a best friend to tear me down. True. It just doesn't, I don't need it. Like, why? Yeah. We're already, as creatives, we're already tearing ourselves down. I don't need that. Like
you don't need to tell me, I know already.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's a tough balance, but I think that's what it is, man. Like, we're not here to, I think we're so serious about life where it's like, we understand the reality of the reality of life, that, like, man, we're not going to be here forever. And, like, why would I have a friend that is going to talk crap and try to, like, almost belittle me? Yeah. I don't get it. Like, I really, like, I don't get on, like, I think we should, like, seriously, I treat my friends and the way that I would almost like a deep friendship where it's like, a brother, a family member. I don't tear anyone down. I never want to do that. And I don't want anyone to do that to me as well.
Yeah. Damn, that's a really good way to put it, dude.
Yeah.
And I've tried to get rid of all those people that are in my life, and just thinking about it now, I pretty much don't have any, but I can think of some in the past where that was just such a natural relationship. Like the thing around here is, oh, you think you're bad.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the car, you think you're all bad, or what? I'm just laughing about it, and that's their congratulations.
Yeah.
And that's just how I was grown up. But just because that's how I was raised was not mean that made me feel good.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? I tried my hardest on this.
Like I got this because I worked hard for it, and I appreciate the product. Like, say you're wearing something, like I appreciate the product and it makes me feel good. Like, why would you tear me down because of it?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And also, like, it seems like you're like, I'm not bragging because I got it. I feel good because I got this, and like I'm wearing it because I own it. You know what I mean? That's where the intention stop. It's like I bought this nice car or a nice belt, whatever you're into, because I enjoy the product and not to show off and like flex. You know what I mean? So it's it all comes down to intentions, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there is that side of it too. I'm a very insecure person growing up.
Yeah.
And it's just, same the culture that I was grown up in. And there is a lot of things that I did just for flexing, and I spent a lot of my, teen years, 20s focused on that kind of thing, and that brought the kind of people around, that focused on those things. And just, I think what I'm doing kind of in my, 30s, mid 30s now is just really reevaluating every aspect of my life, and every day just making tweaks on it. And that's why I was asking you about your diet, because like I'm still making tweaks every day on myself. Like even this week, like I'm not drinking caffeine, and you're going from every single day having caffeine. It's like I haven't had caffeine in like 3 days, and just to see like, okay, well, let me take this out of my life. Let's see, maybe I'll feel better, maybe I won't, and then I smoke every night, and that's to help me sleep. But do I need to do that? So sometimes I like,
it's good to test yourself.
Exactly.
Like all right, I do this, but what happens? Like I shouldn't. Let's see what happens if I take this out of my life and try to improve, like only for improvement's sake, and like let's see how long I can withstand. Like, because our minds suck. Like we have something in our mind that's like, it's like it's multiple personalities. I don't want to do this or ingest this. Why are you telling me that I should? Because
I'm the evening you. I'm not the morning you that feels shitty.
I'm like, what is going on?
I'm the evening version that's like, man, that happened this morning. Let's fucking party.
Yeah, I'm like, you just told yourself you wanted to improve yourself. Like, where's that guy? You're like, it's me. And I'm like, what do you it's not. You're trying to get me to do this.
For real, dude. And then you could just take that to like working out or something.
Yeah.
I want to start going to the gym and make that a part of my life. I've done that in the past, and I understand how much it takes. So there's like that internal conflict of like, oh yeah, I want to do it, but then I really don't want to do it, because then that's like time away from things that I want to do, and I really don't have that much time to do things that I want to do anyway. So if you're a good person at like convincing people of things or being a very convincing person, that's like the worst enemy to yourself, because I can convince myself that my convincing was the wrong way of thinking about shit. So I'm just like, fuck, does everybody think like this, or is it just me? What the hell is going on?
No, me and my buddy were talking about it. Like he's a much smarter person than I am, but he broke it down on like, there's a thing in our brain that tells us that we want something that we know we shouldn't have. It is just, I don't know, he says something about it in our brain, but it's a real thing. Like that's why like even people that are addicted to certain things, like it's very hard to stop addiction. Like if you struggle in any area, like it's very hard to work through. Like it is, I think it's the hardest thing to get through. And that it's just mental. A lot of some of these addictions are all mental. It's like I feel that I will feel better in this season at this time if I do this, because I feel like crap right now. Yeah. So it's just a lot of the things, but it's good to test yourself and build up that mental strength where it's like, nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to, go drink some seltzer water or something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And find ways around it. So it's, there's so many good things that you can benefit from pushing yourself in all aspects of life.
Yeah, definitely, dude. One thing I really like about you is your creativity and like how you actually put it to work. Like I envy that so much. Like every time you come out with something, a new post, and just look at it and like, wow, this isn't just something that he just did on Photoshop. Like I guarantee this took so much time to do that. And that's what I would love to do with my life, is focus more on that. But then, like you said, it's just the balance of everything.
It's hard because you want to build, like, you want to, like, I know we're very similar, like entrepreneurial spirit, and we lead with like almost like business mentality of marketing. And just like in the last 8 months or the last couple of years, I really started to kind of hone a craft and like realize what it would take to become great at something. And sometimes it's a sacrifice to, especially when you're doing it with little help. Like if you depending on your rev or your bankroll, right? Like how much money you got, you can pay someone to do whatever you need. But like if you have a smaller operation or medium-sized operation, it is hard to handle social. Like social alone is a full-time job.
Yeah.
Like I try my best to post like 3 or 4 times a week. And what helped me was I mentioned that we got good help to really organize our thoughts. We came up and developed a social media strategy from a cadence standpoint, where if I'm ever lost and I don't know what to post, we built a calendar that is like almost like a cadence of what to say and what to show. So like it goes product photos, story, and it said like inspiration, and then it goes product photos, and then I'd have to see, but it's like it's a balance between art. So it's like a jig or a puzzle of just a bunch of different ideas and different things to show, and like video, and like, so I like whenever I'm lost, I just go to the calendar. I'm like, all right, what if what's next is not really jiving with me? Let's see what kind of feel like what stands out to me, and what could I really get with, and also what aligns with what I already have. Like there's times where I'm like, I've been really product photo heavy lately. Like a lot of the posts have been product photography. And I'm like, let's shake things up. Let's throw an animation in there. So I'll create something, or it was amazing. My freaking wife at finding like funny videos. Like she loves she is like a genius when it comes to social, and she always has been, because she has always told me to get on things prior to anyone else. And I'm like, and I never listened to her ever. I'm like, yeah, that's a waste of time. But I'm like, Monica, can you just throw me content ideas? And we'll do like, I did one video where it's like the plush doll, and it's a TikTok video. It's like bum da dum dum bum da dum dum bum da da bum da da, and then it's like it goes to like the nice one.
Oh, okay, got you.
But like it's just like being strategic and also allowing to be open to ideas from friends, like, and family, and putting it out there. Say, hey, I don't mind help with this area, where it's like, if you have an idea, I can execute on it. Just throw me the idea. And like a good friend of mine, Paul, that produced the instrumentals or the sonics for our theme song. Yesterday, I'm struggling with. I was like, I gotta think. I was like, we've been product photo. Like what I'm saying is like current. Like I feel like we've been product photo heavy. And I was like, do you see any angle that I'm not seeing, and something that I could relay a message that I'm not telling right now? And he was like, all right. He was like, well, a lot of people I tell about network, they don't understand what it is. They're very new to it. And he was like, you should make a video like explaining what you're doing, why you're there, to like a 10-year-old. And I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, that's a great idea. And literally yesterday we drove around, we found a nice spot, and I was like, let's film it.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's literally a minute, and I was like, hey, what's up, guys? We're here, da-da-da. This is what it is. This is why I'm here. This is what we're dropping. And it's a cool balance. When it comes to content, you got to find your own rhythm, and something that will, because what I used to struggle with is breaking the 3 post grid, where like things look great when you do 3 of them. Yeah. And you have like lines of posts that are
yes. I had that for so long. So dude. Did I. It was like probably 2 months ago that I said, all right, I'm done with this shit.
So it is, I'll send you what we have, the calendar and like the breakdown. It allows you to have that, but in an organic way, where like if you position it right and just like kind of schedule it out just a little bit further invested, it doesn't need to be like, all right, this has to be the next one. So what I do is like doing every other allows it to be almost like a
like a checkerboard kind
yeah,
of?
exactly. Or even like, and you can play around with that and sometimes break it, but breaking out of that is like so liberating.
Yeah.
And I hate how much pressure we put on freaking social media. It makes
God
no
damn.
sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Like in hindsight, like yesterday I was struggling with something and I'm like, mother God. And I was really having a hard time dealing with something I worked so hard on. I worked so hard not to bring myself to a balanced state of how I treat social media. And I felt myself falling into an old pattern. And I had to check myself just last night, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was telling Ken, I hate how much pressure we put on ourselves for this. I was like, it means nothing, because like those who are going to support you and those who are going to love you are going to love you no matter what. Like no matter what you post or no matter how you handle. It's like as long as you're like being a good person, hanging out, talking, being you, like you're good, man. Like we don't need to. And though I am a walking contradiction, we don't need to put so much pressure.
We all are.
We all are. J. Cole said it yesterday. You heard.
You listen to that freestyle?
Yes. Yes. He said May 14th. Oh.
You know, after that freestyle, I started looking up old Eminem freestyles, like Wake Up Show ones, like back in the day.
Yeah.
And damn, it's so weird. Like, just jump off
you're good.
subject. Music is like, I don't look at Eminem like I used to look at him, but then I have to be like reminded of like his greatness.
Oh yeah, like what he was. I don't want to say he's not anymore, because I don't really follow his career right now. But yeah, at one point, man, he was great, and I'm such a huge J. Cole fan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well documented and known, and yeah, there's like he is my all-time favorite forever because of what he speaks about. The fact that the person that has tried so hard and only finds success when he like the love yours, like exactly what I'm saying. You found success when you let go of all the nonsense of that life brings.
Yeah.
And you're in a position only because you just didn't stop, and you're running a marathon in a sense of, I'm going to do me at all cost and not going to try to follow trends. And he said, I look good in a Ferrari or Camry. I look good in them both. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't care. And I hope that is what I'm chasing, of not finding a balance of not participating in the freaking crazy world we live in. You know what I mean? Like, blazing my own way and following my own dream, not someone else's dream, which is hard to do. I say it, but it's very hard to do.
Yeah.
Because you need to find inspiration too. Like, you can't just be like, put blinders on and then I'm not going to listen to nobody's advice or criticism or nothing, because you need to be open to criticism and direction, because it sometimes, like, God will use other people to deliver a message and help you get to the next season. And that's one thing. That's a balance. Like, you need to listen to the right people. You can't just listen to everyone.
Yeah, I think I need more people like that in my corner.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the time I just feel like I'm by myself just trying to figure this out.
So.
And, you know, the industry that we're in, you know, no disrespect to them, but I really don't feel like they're accepting or even know what to look for in like a different level of creativity. Yeah. Because in the automotive community, you put together a video of a car meet or something. This is the shots you're going to get. Put a music over it. Boom. Put a girl in there or something, you're done. But I'm like, that's cool, but like that really doesn't show me any interest.
Yeah.
You know, so then I'll create a video that I think is like super dope, and I put so much creativity in it, and it just doesn't get any love.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just like so hard on myself. I'm just like, was that not good? Do I think that things that I think that are good are not?
No, I think when you're dealing with greatness, like when you are great, I think it's very hard for people to it's not in their rhythm where they're used to seeing what everyone else is doing. So when you break that and you're doing your own thing, it's very hard to get them to pay attention. And I think like I struggle with the same thing. Like, I'm like, man, I'm doing things that I really believe in, and that is very different and it has a unique style, comes from a pure place, comes from organic shapes. I tried to develop a brand identity from a standpoint of like, let's have these characters be original. Like a lot of people are like, what is Inue? Like, is that a horse? Is that a hippo? Yeah. And I'm like, that's cool because you don't know what it is, because I tried my best to make something that does not look like anything else. And of course it has been inspired by certain things, and I won't deny that, but I tried to find something that you look at it and you're like, that doesn't really look like anything. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's very hard for people to accept, but it's what lasts. Like, authenticity always lasts the longest. That is why J. Cole, Kendrick, the Kanyes, the Teslas, the high end creatives set out to blaze a trail, like blaze their own path. And that's why you just got to stick to your guns and never really bend to because the world's crazy. Like, we're gonna bend to them. Like, they're nutty. They don't know what the heck they want. Yeah. They just, most of the time they're like, look at the hip hop industry. I mean, for me, what rapper from 3 years ago that was like in your new age alternative rap music is still currently making music, God willing that they're alive? Mm-hmm. I'm not interested in anyone. Yeah. Like the Lil Pump?
Yeah, I mean, that's a perfect example right there.
So, but look at Roddy Ricch.
Mm-hmm. Same shit.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, like I feel like his music was new, and it was a unique sound, and he found his own lane. And he really, like, I don't put him in the same category as your Lil Pumps. Like, I think he came with or authentic sound, or I'm trying to think who, like, a lot of course, like the J. Cole's. I'm trying to go like not like the real obvious ones.
I put him in an industry plant.
Oh yeah, Roddy.
Maybe that's just me being cynical. Yeah. Dude. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah. Well, dude, honestly, I was exposed to that industry with a certain opportunity that didn't really play out, but I was exposed to the hip hop industry and hip hop culture and like a lot of behind the scenes. And I'm like, the more I research, like the more I'm looking at measuring, I feel like everything is not a setup, but is a plan.
Hell yeah!
Like a lot of things, like people will bring you on, and they need you to be put on in an organic way, so they'll slowly work you in. Mm-hmm. And I've seen that from even there's a certain like art industry that is the same thing. Like, they're backed by big money, and no one knows that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was exposed to that, and like, it's a cool avenue, and it's more power. Like, awesome. Like, by all means, like, if you're an artist, by all means, find your way and find your avenue. But it was strange to witness. Like, I'm like, oh, that's how that works.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have any proof, and I don't hate on him or whatever. He's doing his own thing, but I can see the whole play.
Yeah.
For everything, and I've seen it so much, and it's just this is the game. And these are the rules, and however you decide to play it, it's on you. Yeah. I stick more towards, like the core audience, the more genuine.
Oh yeah. No, I just was trying to find a excuse, someone that is not clear. Like, honestly, all I do is listen to J. Cole. Like,
that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. And a few like, I love Billie Eilish. Like,
really?
I get down with her music. Her whole her level of creativity is why, like, I'm just fascinated by her music. And I love different music, like orchestral music and things that really provoke emotion. So like, I don't play too much in like current hip hop, but like, that's why I like obviously love J. Cole, because he's always playing with like, I'm either gonna like destroy your career and like just freaking out rap you by miles, or you're spitting something so real that he calls out the street that you're driving on, and you're like, we just did this. I'm on this right now. You know what I mean? Like, he said something like when he put out the interlude. He was like, it could go two ways. It could go up or down. He's like, either way, I'm prepared. And he's like, to me, like, it spoke to me, because it's like, I worked hard for this, dropping May 14th, and I was like, it can go two ways. It could be successful, and we have a long career, or it could go, how the other way. And I just don't know. But either way, I put in the work, and either way, I'm okay with whatever outcome the other side has for me.
So what is the outcome for success? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, no, just sustainability. Like I never want like all the fancy stuff. Like I just want to be able to provide for my family. So like as soon as I can create and provide for my family at a level that my everyone's happy, then I'm good. Like that's success for me. Because for me, I'm already successful in creation and from a creative standpoint because I am trying every day. So like in trying, I'm successful. Like I'm happy when I'm trying. I'm the most happy when I'm in that flow of really really finding, almost living in a whole new world. Like building a whole new world is sick. Like I'm like, you escape reality in such a way that it's almost impossible to describe. You're thinking of the textures on the rock. What do the grass look like? What does the grass look like? The trees. How did the trees shape match the authenticity of the shapes of the figure or the creatures, and different elements and different texture, like skin textures and emission. Do they emit light? Like there's so many different details that you can focus on, and like that's what success is to me. Is like just living in that world. But in reality, my reality success is providing for the family.
Gotcha.
Like that's it.
So say tomorrow for tomorrow's drop. What is going to determine if it's a good drop or a bad drop?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if I have an. I don't think I could say a good answer to that, because that is. I am doing my all. I'm giving it my all to not focus on the outcome. Just focus on the task at hand, because I still gotta perform. Like 6 o'clock strikes Eastern time. We got a minute before I'm on, because the video I made is a minute. That's gonna start playing, and then I gotta perform again. So like I'm focusing on the work that still needs to be done. And do I want to have a successful drop where those who are genuine supporters come out and support? Like, yeah, that's what gets me fired up. Where it's like, oh man, I'm seeing good friends of mine call me and say, I'm so proud of you, man. That's so awesome. And literally on the way here, my buddy Pudge. He FaceTimed me and he was like, dude, this is awesome, man. I'm so proud of you. And this is, I'm so happy for you. You worked so hard for this. And that's success. Like seeing my loved ones appreciate our journey. Cause it's, they know what it took, and they know like how much I want this and how much I worked for this.
Yeah, that's a blessing that you get that, dude.
Yeah, it's really cool.
For sure.
And it's like you said, like a lot of times you feel alone in the process, and like, I think JC said like something like everyone glorifies the outcome and no one falls in love with the process. I swear I saw that on Instagram somewhere. But it's so true, because like you do feel alone while you're making everything, because you don't know what, like prior to the network deal, prior to Vibram, prior to all this stuff, I was just like alone in my room trying to figure it out. I'm like, all right, I think this is a cool idea. I like this character a lot. It looks good. The story's okay, because I wasn't through the process of writing the story. And I'm like, I think it's a good story. So like, but you feel alone in that. But that's where you like find your place and you find your purpose. And I'm like, all right, just keep working, keep grinding. And like, to me, it's like an everyday thing, where it's like every day you're like thinking of a different angle. You're like, what if I did this? And like, all right, I'm seeing car videos be this way, but what happens if I interpret it and put it out in another way? Yeah. And I'm proud of that way, and I'm just going to stick to my guns and keep building on my own road.
And then hopefully it'll get picked up by people.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Or hopefully you'll find a new, like, just consistently grow. Like if you find a way that you love making videos and you are excited about it and you start to grow from that, like that in itself is success, but without us even knowing in hindsight, because it will lead into more growth. And really success is just growth. Nothing else. I mean, nothing really matters in this world besides growth, family, and love. Like, what else technically matters? Yeah. Like at the end of the day, when the world shut down, what mattered?
It starts to chop away.
But
Definitely.
I was like, my job didn't matter.
Yeah, right.
I was like, what am I gonna do? You know?
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel you, dude. And it's just the struggles just being a creative, and that's why I always love to talk to other creators just to hear how they navigate through things and how they deal with being a creative.
Yeah, it's hard.
Sometimes it feels like a gift, but sometimes it feels like a curse at the same time.
Yeah, I was watching a video right before I left. It was the gift of being, I'll send it to you. It's the gift of being creative, or no, I'm sorry, the curse of being creative. And it breaks down on like, even if you're creative, we got to figure out how, if it's something so new, you got to figure out how to explain it to somebody, because then you need it to be beneficial for you. And then you got to sell it, then you got to market it, then sell it. Like there's so many steps. You can't, like, just being a creative, it doesn't, like, you either create and try to like get it out there, market it, and so many steps, and like that's exhausting. And then people need to like it. And then if you just bottle it up, then you feel like a fruit or a tree bearing fruit with no one to eat it. Like it falls to the wayside, and or you just bottle it up and you go in almost insane. It's very hard to be creative. Like it's hard to manage a creative as an operator, as a business owner. It's hard to manage another creative. It's hard to be a creative. Everything about creativity is difficult, you know. But it's amazing though, because man, I was at church right before I left. We had a Teams meeting, and they were talking about the power of being creative is so important to this world, because we are the only ones that can interpret the future, or in a sense, or it said like we're the only ones that interpret the intelligence of God by our art. Think about it, like God didn't send out to make a table. He sent a guy, gave him an idea to be able to create a table. Like God didn't make tables. He made the people that can make tables. And like being creative is such a God-given talent that can move and shift the world, but it's just very hard to manage, and it's a heavy weight to lift every day. Yeah,
definitely, especially when it just becomes so routine. Like with Downstar, is everything that we offer is necessary is for creativity for the end user. You know, whatever ideas you have for your build, you're gonna choose whichever hardware, whichever color, whichever scheme that you want to do, and that's for your creativity.
All right, boys, we're going to take another break for our sponsor, Automotive. Piecing together a few...
Should I do that voice, guys, or should I just leave my regular voice? My regular voice is kind of like nasally, but I think everybody's used to it. But I could do like
the announcer from 1921 baseball.
Let's just do my regular voice. Piecing together a fuel system for your build can be a difficult task. Luckily, Automotive has your back with everything that you need, from replacement fuel pumps to fuel systems that will support up to 3,000 horsepower. That's like pretty much all my cars put together times 2. Automotive engineers have developed a solution for your build regardless of the power level. If you're looking to make a switch over E85, they have all the parts that you need to build a system to be there when you need it the most. If you need a custom fuel system for your daily that turned into a project car, no problem. You can check out their brushless pump line. This is their new quieter pumps. They make less heat, last longer than traditional brush motor pumps, and these range from the original A1000 all the way up to 10 gallons per minute for 3,000 plus horsepower. Or one of them that I'm gonna get for a new project that you guys don't know about is the Stealth 340. This is the top selling replacement fuel pump. It fits most factory fuel tanks, and it supports high horsepower builds, 700 EFI setup, or 1,000 horsepower for a carburetor. I got a carburetor. Wait, no, I don't have a carburetor anymore. I have a fuel injection carburetor thing that I'm not even happy with it, guys. So if anybody wants to sponsor the Chevelle with something better than that, please let me know. So guys, if you do have assistance, say you're building something crazy, say your daily turned into if your daily turned into your build, and you're just like, man, I don't even know what I need, but I just know I need automotive. You got to hit up the customization shop and just let them know what you need, and they'll map it out for you. Whether you got a race car, boat, heavy equipment, drones, whatever you need, man, they'll take care of you. And if you're like Pro Drifter Matt Field, where you're just like, yo, I have everything, I'm on downtime right now, can you run through it all? Can you rebuild this? Can you rebuild that? Can you flush this? Can you flush that? You just hit them up for their rebuild program, and they'll fix everything, get it all looking brand new, and then you put it in, go win some races, suck some titties, whatever. And yeah, guys, if you check them out on their website at aeromotiveinc.com, you can see everything that I talked about and more. And make sure you guys check them out on Instagram at aeromotive. Yeah, and if you guys want to save 10%, make sure you guys use the code DTWD. Big shout out to Aeromotive, man. Thank you guys for sponsoring the podcast. I really appreciate it. And I'm excited to throw this Stealth 340 in my secret project that nobody knows about. So, guys, thank you for checking out the podcast. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Big shout out to Dustin from Audio Tint Lab. Please go check him out, guys. Super hustler. And check us out on Instagram at Downtime with Downstar. Let us know who you would want to see on the podcast. We out. Peace.
And which is cool because you're providing them a way to be creative in a space that is something that is that there's no option to be creative. You know what I mean? Like you're giving them the palette, which is like very powerful.
You know, and I've never even thought of that as like a marketing point either. It was just like, okay, well, I have the product here, let's sell it. But I never really thought about it to a deeper level. Like I actually explained it to people, you know, but that's the way that I think about it. You know, it's like, well, if you're gonna do a drawing and I give you 3 color pencils, you're gonna do whatever you can. But if I give you a whole box of them, dude, you're gonna create something amazing. You know, and that's how I look at our products. But I've been doing this for the last 12 years, and it's like I needed another outlet for my creativity, and that's kind of where the podcast came from. And now it's transitioned over into the skate brand. You know, I
which is so sick. I was curious on I wanted to ask you is like what are your like aspirations? Like where do you want to go? Like what's your 5-year give or take plan on like where you want to take this? Is it sticking with the automotive industry, building out and following that journey, or like do you have other ideas and something new that's kind of boiling, you know, inside of you?
As far as the skate stuff, or just overall?
Just overall.
Got you. So I usually don't have like a 5-year plan or anything like that. I just go with my feeling, and whatever I want to spend time on, that's what I'm focusing on at that time. The automotive community hasn't really been sparking my interest as much as it has in the past. Whether it's I'm growing at a different level, they're growing in a different level. It's just not meshing like it did in the past. And that could have to do with, you know, COVID and not being able to go out to shows and not being around the environment. But kind of still, even before that too, is like I can't vibe with you besides like saying, oh, you got a nice car. Like that's basically where it ends. And what I'm looking for is more of like a personal connection. And I kind of found that again with skateboarding. It's awesome. You know, because you can be at the skate park with a pro skater and you're trying to ollie a 4-stair, and if you ollie that 4-stair after 100 tries, like that pro skater's gonna give you props. On the opposite side, in the car community, you can have the nicest car and they're gonna find one thing to pick apart about it, and that's just the way that the culture is. You know, so the culture of the automotive community and myself kind of haven't been vibing for a while. And, you know, get back into skateboarding just naturally because my son, I bought him a board. I bought a board, and I'm like, oh man, I miss doing this shit. That's kind of where that is who I am before even cars. Before I had a car, I was skateboarding. You know, and we did a documentary about Downstar back in 2016, and one of the first things I said was I was talking about skateboarding, and that was back in 2016. So it's always been a part of my life. and kind of even the way that the brand is, the way that I market is. It's more on the way a skateboard brand would be rather than a car brand would be. There's a lot more attitude into it. There's a lot more, fuck it, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. And that's kind of the way that Downstar was modeled. And you know what's crazy is I look all back at all that, and my favorite brand ever was Baker Skateboards. And just the way that everything started working out is my boy Jay that works for Baker. Like, he and I clicked up together, and he used to be into cars, but then skateboarding took over more of his life.
That's cool.
So we're kind of giving back to each other what we lost. He's giving me back the skateboarding. I'm giving him back. That's his car back there.
Oh,
so,
okay. Gotcha.
So it's kind of like now I get to see the passion in him for cars that I haven't seen in so long, because I'm just so jaded being around it so much. So it's just being around that kind of that environment. And then, like I said, with Baker is like, that's the way that's like my ideal kind of brand, you know. So I always get so much inspiration from them, and now just me knowing more people in the company, getting closer to that, the inspiration's going more, and I'm just like, I'm not sure where the skate stuff's gonna go, but it definitely has a lot of room that it can grow, for sure. Because even if you look at the skateboard community versus the automotive community, skateboard community dwarfs it so much, you know. So there's so much more room for growth. Plus, the passion is still there with me, so I don't know where it could go, dude. We could have a Downstar skate, like an actual skate shop with a skate park in the back.
Yeah, that'd be dope. And I felt the same way with the car community, and it's almost, I don't know what it is, man. I lost my passion for it too. Like I used to think a cool car defined me. Yeah. Like I found I put my confidence in my car, and like right now I'm driving an E46 like stock.
Yeah.
Like just because like I had an SI, 2019 SI, and when we had our son, I was like, you know what? And I love my SI. I was so sick. I was lowered on wheels and suspension components, and I loved it. But my wife needed something, nice, bigger. So we got her an Explorer, 2020 Explorer, and I just was like, you know what? Who cares when I'm driving? Yeah. Ain't nobody sees me anyway. Like I'm upstairs. I'm cooking all the time. I don't go out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I got rid of it, and I just I started to really accept not working on cars. Like I was like, I don't even want to work on cars. Like I still have my S14. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I ain't going nowhere either. I do want to restore it one day and make it really, really sick, but I don't know, man. I lost it as well, and I don't know what it is. It might be, is it age? Is it time? Because it's funny because I have some younger homies that are getting that spark, and I see them posting memes on low cars and that culture, and I'm like, it's maybe that's just a season in my life that I can just look back on and enjoy it and move forward. But I see that I don't know, it could be that we're just growing out of it, or have our attention is shifting.
Yeah. I could pinpoint a lot of things that it is, but that would probably just come up to me complaining about it. You know,
you went through, you were in you were a service provider you were offering a creative outlet for the automotive industry. Anyone that's in service is always gonna get beat up a few times because they're dealing with humans. Yeah, humans that are interesting. Yeah, and that's so I understand where it's I hear you where you can pinpoint. It's because freaking these guys are freaking mean. All right?
Yeah. But it's just I wish I had that feeling where when I get a new part in that I'm stoked, but I'm not. Yeah. For one of my cars, I have full turbo kit, full all-wheel drive, everything from the trans to the diff to everything to mount it. I'm just I have no motivation to install this. Yeah. For what? What is my end goal? And you tell that to somebody else, and you're like, well, you just have a fast car. I'm like, well, I have the BMW. What else?
And then I'm in the same way. I'm looking at because I might be in the position to guess I'm out. I heard the new Q50s are nasty. You can make them real nasty.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah.
And I was
Twin
looking
turbo,
hell yeah. I was looking at those, and I'm like, I'm liking a stock faster car with little suspension, low wheels. That's it. That's where it ends for me. stuff that I can get done in a couple hours.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to bust my butt, man. I'm tired. I'm tired of working on my car.
Yeah.
Like
I like I said, I can't even really see what it is. Like, that just doesn't bring me joy anymore.
But shredding, trying to get a trick.
Exactly.
Like,
that is so stupid, because somebody's like, what are my kids' skateboards? Why would you rather do that than do this car shit? Like, bro, because I've done all that fucking car shit, dude. Like,
there's no, and it's scarier. Like, dude, pulling up to like something that you've never done, and then it's scary, and like that feeling, and the community is just so much fun, and it's something that you can just like reminisce on and have a good few hours, and it's sustainable. You don't have to financially. There's no burden on going there every day. You just pull up, have a good time for a few hours, you come home, and you can do that every day. It's sustainable. You will not ruin or put yourself in a bad position. I think cars put me in a bad position financially because I was trying to do something that I was not in the position to do. I was not necessarily like flexing because it was just drifting, but drifting's expensive.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to drift by all means, and I thought drifting would fuel my channel, which it did. And I thought it would allow me to live a beautiful life from a financial standpoint. But all it did was like make me spend money on my cars and build, like the return on investment. I was investing so much versus the return, and it put me into the point where like it self-destructed. But I'm happy because I that's when I made all these products.
Yeah. Now that you say that, dude, I really feel like the automotive community brings out a lot of things inside of me that I'm trying to change.
Yeah.
Ego, pride, just money management, and just like reason.
You can have such a more fulfilling life without a car, which is wild. Like, I haven't spent a dime on cars in about a year, and it's like, man, I got so much extra. Like, I can help my family or pick up something, like, get my wife a new car and be able to sustain that and really provide for my family and like invest in really cool product and creativity, rather than just like having a car that possibly could depreciate depending on what car you have, and also like depending on that balance of like, you could mod it so much to the point where it's like you're not getting that money back. Like if you go fully built motor, top to bottom, everything, like you're not getting that money back.
Yeah,
you can spend $20,000-$30,000 on a motor and like you're not that's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I think it's just I really focus on the why of a lot of things, and there's not much of a really good why for me, being 36 years old, to be putting that much time into the hobby.
Yeah,
like my name's already established.
Yeah,
we provide a product. I know what I have to do, and that shouldn't have to do with anything if I'm like still doing car things.
Dude, a lot of brands don't participate in the activity. I remember when I was researching scooters for Lena, like the biggest brand of scooters, the dude was a BMX guy. Yeah, and he just found like I think it was Blunt Scooters back in like on like Europe. I think it was in UK. He wasn't even a scooter guy. He doesn't even scooter. Like after he makes the products, like he was a BMX guy, saw that there was an opportunity to provide a solution for these kids, and that's why he made them. Yeah. Like I think oftentimes we feel like we got to be about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm out here providing a service, providing a solution. I got to be about what my business is. And like, sometimes you do for a certain point, but then at one point it's like, no, that's sustainable. Like I'm good. Like I don't need to show you that I am about this life because I make products for you. Obviously, I'm like, I know what size. I did it already. Yeah. It's but yeah, I think there's a balance to that.
So yeah, that's how I feel, dude. And what I really do see is a lot of car guys skateboard or have skateboarded, or they're the same as me. They put down the skateboard when they got their car and their passion went that way. Yeah. So I don't even know any brands at all that in the automotive community that balance both worlds. in an authentic way. You know, I've seen car brands where they put a logo or whatever on a skateboard and sell it. That's not what I'm talking about.
No, you're talking about real authentic
from the culture.
Yeah, and I can see, the cool thing is I can see that. Like I can, who put out, did Raise, can you get a raised board or something?
Yeah.
Like when I look at a raised board compared to a downstar board, I can see that, like I feel that just from being a consumer, being a outsider, which is awesome because you're showing authenticity, and I can see that you want to provide the feeling of, I was a girl skateboard chocolate guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You want to provide that of like, oh, the new, you know, this came out, tape what came out.
Yeah.
And you want to provide that, and I can see it from just an outside in. And that's what's really cool.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it because that's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really see it as like I'm doing this so I can make money. Hopefully it makes money so it'll pay for whatever time I'm spending on that.
Yeah.
But like it's just about growing the name of Downstar, and what Downstar is, you know, doing things that I want to do, and that's one thing that I want to do. So if I can find people in the automotive community that can relate to what I'm doing, then that's perfect.
It's hard to transition. It's like I had to steer the ship from drifting in cars to clothing to create like art, and I mean, it is debilitating on if you measure yourself based on how your social results are, because you're steering a ship in a different direction. Your people are used to going this direction, and now you're going that direction. You know, like, don't expect them to be like, wow, I was actually expecting an art toy from you. You know what I mean? Like, this is the furthest thing I could have ever done. And there was times where I had to get over the fact that, like, I was used to a certain amount of engagement, and I'm steering this ship in a different direction. And I've had people reach out to me, say, look, I don't know what you're doing, and I honestly don't get it. And I'm like, oh, I'm just creating a character. And I, you know, lead with happiness, lead with love. Like, look, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm excited about. And I've gotten that multiple times, like, and I'm like, I understand, but it's just like, I need to do this because I feel passionate about it. Like, I'd rather do something I love rather than just continue to try to maintain something that doesn't do it for me anymore.
I love that, dude. And yeah, I mean,
I think that's what you're doing, which is dope.
That's exactly what I'm doing, you know, consciously or subconsciously. Like, I needed a different release for it.
Yeah.
You know, like if you were to ask me if Downstar was fully sustainable, it's going on its own, what would I want to do? Just create shit and skate, you know, and mix them together. Go skate, create an edit or something, and you know, eat good after that. That's pretty much all I would want to do, you know. But it is the hard thing with, like you're saying, you're steering the ship a different direction. People are like, what, skateboarding? How does that, like, if they weren't even ever into it, what does that have to do with cars? That's stupid. You know, but it's like, okay, cool. Now I got to deal with getting, you know, 30 likes on this thing, on this video.
That was the number I was going to say too.
You know, I just like put all myself into it, and I'm hoping like, oh, hopefully it pops off. But
the cool thing is, once you steer the ship and you stay true to yourself, you start to see the growth build back up. And that is the coolest, most rewarding experience ever. Cause I think I lost almost like 1,000 followers, bro, steering the ship. And like, I'm trying not to base measure that by my success, but we're built back up. We got 1,000, you know what I mean? New guys that are just excited. And I've that transition period of that number ticking up once, I was like, Monica, I told my wife, I was like, we haven't grown in a year. I was like, it's our first time freaking growing, and it's because we stuck to our guns. We stayed true to ourselves, and we led with like what we wanted to put out into the world. We didn't just like halfway do it, because like a lot of times when I was doing automotive or clothing, I would throw up a picture of my car just to get, you know, people you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, all right, 41 on a t-shirt and here we go, car 300. Yeah,
oh yeah, they love me still.
Yeah. And it's like, but like when you steer the ship, like, no, look, this is my ship. Like, this is my journey. This is my creative journey. This is where I want to go. And I know you guys will appreciate me being true to myself rather than trying to fake. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm out into cars, like, I don't want to pretend like I am, because then I will, like, for my friends, I'll let them down when I'm not down to go to a meet. I don't want to go hang out.
Yeah.
You know, no offense. I just don't want to do that. There's better use of my time than going to a drift event and wasting money. And I just can't do that right now. Nor do I really want to. I'd honestly rather go skate too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just saying it, and just me saying it, it sounds so bad. And I don't like how it sounds, and I don't like not being a part of, the scene or the culture or whatever. But I'm still in it.
Yeah.
My product's still there.
Yeah.
I still have a staple in the community, and I still have love for it. But it's not bringing me the same joy that it may be bringing you. And if it's still bringing you this joy, fucking soak it in, dog.
Love exactly.
It,
and you're providing a solution. You're like, I don't think you should sell yourself short, even though like you may not participate. Like you are providing a solution and so to someone that is extremely passionate about that. If they're down, if woman or dude is down to the nuts and bolts, literally. Like, they're passionate. Yeah. And that's what's so cool. You're providing a passion, an outlet at such a level that is able to fuel the people that are really about that. Because if you're down to the nuts, like I'm not a nut and bolt guy. Like I am like my wheels are tight, right? I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, like I haven't changed anything on my car since I built it. Like besides like tightening it up and anything I broke. Yeah. But like literally and like replacing some gaskets. But like I'm not like I need more power. I need to clean this up. I'm like, let's just keep drifting and beating the brakes off. Yeah. And but like so you're providing a solution to the highest level of passion, which is a big deal. And though you may not feel it, I think we got to give you credit.
Thank you, man.
Because
I appreciate it.
You're doing something great still. You know what I mean? Like there's how many brands and companies go in and out? And I said it last time. I've known of Downstar for 7 years, and I was 20 years old. And I what did I buy? Oh, I bought a lower control arm kit.
Yeah. Like, I remember.
And that was when I was fired up. I mean, I had a stock EG 4-door. But underneath, you know what I mean? Come and see me. Get down there. Check it out. Yeah. And I was pumped about it. So you're you know what I mean? I don't think you should ever sell yourself short, because you're doing great things, and you're blending and steering the ship in a really cool way. Like I can see it, and it's like, oh man, I can get. That's why I was like, I'm not bringing my board. Yeah, I'm serious. I didn't bring my board. I was like, I unbuckled. I unbuckled. Yeah, I unbuckled my trucks. No, but I took out. I brought what I needed, and I was like, you know what I mean? Because I think it's sick.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate really cool. It, man. Yeah, and I just don't want anybody to think that that I think of the community a certain way or whatever. It's just I've done so much in such a small time, and I've put myself in these situations where I was going to 10 shows a year all around the country. So it's natural that you're going to experience the whole game in a certain amount of time, so it's just what I want people to see me as is as a creator, the same way as you, like as an artist.
I think they do, because there's what's really cool is you built such a strong brand that is like, I don't see it with anyone else. Like I see I don't know, you see culture in your brand. Like you look at, I can name any brand, and I don't want to name any brand. Yeah. But I can't see who's behind it, nor a culture that I could get behind as a consumer. Like that's one thing I think, Frank Downstar and Downstar. You know what I mean? Like that's what's really cool about it. It's like you built such a culture that we can as a consumer get excited about, and like for me, I want to support you. Like I'm,
yeah, hell yeah.
So it's and that's what we all strive for. Like that's what I hope to bring, something where like you see that I just want to help, and I just want to, if I like my goal is just to create, like that's it. Yeah. Like it ends there. Yeah. Like I give me my E46 forever. I just don't care. Yeah. I mean, like the rear bushings are bad right now, but I don't feel like working on my cars. And then my e-brakes, I'm pretty sure my e-brakes or the brakes are stuck, because like when I stop, my rear lifts up. I'm pretty sure that's my e-brake. And it's down. I'm like, oh. So I have to fix it when I get home. Eventually.
I feel you, dude. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And this is just, this is all just conversations that I just have in my head, because there's not a lot of people that I talk to that can understand it, because like you said, there's not that many creative people out there.
Yeah.
So it's good to be able to, you know, sit down with a creative person
Yeah.
and just chop it up and then just reassure yourself that you're just not crazy.
No, what I've noticed and research, like not research, but like just witnessing, we all have the same thoughts. Like as a creative, when I talk to like my buddy Kenny, Paul, Eric, and freaking anyone, Slook, all those creatives, that we all go through the same stuff. And it is amazing. I was watching the Billie Eilish documentary, and like in that I saw a lot of myself, and like I hate my product sometimes. Yeah. And I'm like I want it to be like, it just doesn't spark me anymore. And I'm like, I was like, God, I got to figure out like how to get there and like improve it. And then you start to work on it, and then you start to love it. And then, you know, it's just up and down, up and down, up and down. I feel alone, but I got everyone around me. I feel loved, but it's temporary. And then I'm like, we're crazy. We're literally insane.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
And that's kind of one thing that does bring me some sort of peace, is knowing that the person at the top of whatever your respective field is, if you hear them in a podcast or something and you hear their vulnerabilities, you still understand like, wow, this dude is still going through the same sort of things. So it's kind of refreshing knowing that it just doesn't end, but you just figure out how to deal with it a lot better.
Yeah, and you're able to strategize about it, where it's like, if you have a plan takes out the feeling most of the time. If you have a plan how you want to execute, it'll take out your insecurities, because like one thing that gets rid of insecurities is doing the work. If you do the work and do the work enough to the point where you have no reason to be insecure, because look, I did the work. If it doesn't work out, I got nothing to, I can't, there was nothing else I could do. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's no, granted it's tough and it's a very hard balance, but one of the things that was taught to me is whenever you're feeling anxious, insecure, just do the work. If you're questioning yourself, just do the work. Just put your head down, continue to push, because you'll get through that period, and then you'll be super proud of what we pushed through. And then you look yourself, I literally look at myself in the mirror at freaking 2 a.m. and be like, you did it. I literally, if you plug my phone in, it says, there can be no doubt. Doubt causes chaos and one's own demise. I have a voice memo. Every time I plug in my phone, it says that. And then when I actually it's vice versa. When I unplug, it says we won today, we win every day. Because I need that every single. I'm not even joking. You have a plug. Let's see. Where is my phone? Hold on, Kenny. Can you run and get my phone? Watch this.
Let's see it, bro.
We won today. We win every day.
Oh, dude, I didn't even know.
There can be no doubt. Doubt causes chaos and one's own demise.
What the hell? How do you do that word?
Is it that?
Oh, that's so sick.
I'll show. I'll show you, because
I like that.
I need those, because doubt causes chaos. As soon as you start to doubt yourself, you start to spiral. Yeah. And just a reminder every single. Literally, my daughter is like, there can be no doubt. And literally, I've had that on for I think 3 or 4 months, and I'm never gonna change it.
That's sick,
because it's so true.
That.
And sometimes I'll go to bed and I'll plug in, I'll unplug my phone, plug it in, and it'll say, we won today, we win every day. And I'm like, yeah, damn right we did, because I freaking tried today. I gave it my all today, and I feel proud of it. Hell yeah. And even in the times I don't feel that way, it's a reminder, all right,
tomorrow,
or we did do work, and we got more work to do tomorrow, and we can keep going. So
you gotta keep on keeping on, like Joe Dierte, bro. So who are some of your inspirations, just life inspirations overall? Someone that you look towards and you're just like, yeah, I like how that dude navigates. I like how that person navigates through life, and you pick things from them.
It's so tough, man. I don't even want to throw random people out there, because I've really honed into just I don't go out and, man, I wish I had a few people I could think of, but I've been so focused the last year to 8 months that I've really stopped looking at, I can tell you things. I stopped looking at people and just watching them and their lives. I've really started embracing or enjoying movies and behind the scenes.
Okay.
So like I don't really go on Instagram. Like at the end of the night, I don't go search for like I can check up on people. I'm more so watching a movie or behind the scenes on how it was created and the thought process of, you know, how they got to the end product. Like The Mandalorian. If you ever watched the behind the scenes on The Mandalorian,
No.
dude, their freaking landscape is literally LED lights, and the camera tracks, like the LED lights tracks the camera tracks the LEDs, vice versa. So when the shot goes down, the LED lights travel, and it'll rotate the background with the camera.
Oh, okay.
So like imagine like instead of green screen back in the day, or like going to like in the middle of nowhere and really filming it, they're filming in these studios and they're pushing technology to the point where it's like mind blowing. So like honestly, like Disney, I watch a lot of like stuff behind Disney, Pixar, and character development is a big thing. Like I love character development where it's to the point where it is people that are taking ideas and rough ideas to flush them out and like really develop these characters or ideas to the highest level. Like character development in itself is really cool. And you got an idea and then you draw like a million versions, and then you just keep pushing, build and build and build, and like that's one of the things that I've fallen in love with. So it would be more so not anyone specifically, and just more medium based. Like I'll find just different artists that I'm really enjoying their work.
Got you.
Not necessarily their lifestyle, because everyone's life, like I can't relate to anyone's lifestyle. Like because I've been more protective over myself. Like I don't want to fall into the trap I once did until I'm ready. Like I don't want to follow people's lives so closely that I start to compare myself. So I'm at the point where it's like I see what you're doing. I love the product, and I like if it's product, I love following product. Like it's cool. And if it's like really fun, exciting stuff. But like I just kind of like stay in my lane, man, and like just really started to kind of like really work on myself. And honestly, dude, I listen to like stuff that helps me spiritually every second of the day. Like if I don't need to listen to, like when I'm animating or editing, I have to listen, like I'm cutting stuff up. But if there's no audio that I need to listen to, I'm just listening to it's stuff that helps, like the curse of creativity, or like sermons I love, and like churches I follow. Like that's all I listen to. Okay. Because like literally, like I want to be fueled and uplifted every single second that is quiet, because if not, you know what yourself does. You listen to a song and then you're like, and then all of a sudden these thoughts start to creep in, and I'm like, I'd rather just be like constantly taught. Like I'm looking to learn every second of the day that I can, and if I can do it from a technical standpoint where I need to learn how to do something, or a spiritual standpoint that I need to listen to what may be something I need to work on. So that's kind of like, I don't have a good answer for someone specific. It's few artists that are doing some nasty stuff. Yeah, that I follow, but nothing very specific. Besides Fern, I met him yesterday. And we connected. Yeah. A few months ago, I found him because I found him on Instagram, and I was like, it's hard to get a spark from other people's work. But his stuff, I was like, I reached out, I was like, your stuff is really cool, man. Yeah. And we connected, and I was like, recently, I was like, I'm gonna be in LA in a couple weeks. I was like, let's link. And met him in person. Super cool dude. Yeah. His attention to detail is ridiculous, and it was cool to finally, I'm sure you've had to come in contact with this, where like not many people work in your specific practice, and then when you finally link with someone that does what you do, you have so many notes to share. I did it this way. How did you know what I mean? And we were just going back and forth, and I'm like, man, I learned a lot. And I don't know if he learned something, but like I'm sure we there's always a different perspective to learn. And like he pointed out some stuff, and I'm like, man, I really have never thought of it that way at all. Yeah. And like I'll give you an example. Archivable. Like I don't really play in the fine art. Like I don't fall under the category of fine art. It's a little outside of like where I want to go. But the fine art industry cares a lot about being archivable. Basically, is it going to last 50 years, 100 years? And I'm like, and he has to do research on canvas. I don't know, canvas specs. I don't know how I would, I can't speak on it because I don't really play in that area.
Yeah.
And make sure that he's using the best materials to be able to last the longest. And I never knew that. I never, like, I paint, but I paint, whenever I show a painting, it's because I really was just, I wanted to have fun, and like, I needed a break from animation design or this. I just wanted to go throw a couple hours, but still be productive.
Gotcha.
And that's when I'll paint. Like, I will always paint. I have a few paintings that are just sitting there ready to be worked on. And it's always because, like, I'm at the point where it's like, I'm at a decision making point where it's like, I can go left or right with a decision. Let me just chill on it. But I don't want to waste time, so I'm going to go paint. You know what I mean? Because it's still, moving something forward, and I can always either sell those paintings or put them up as prints, etc. So, but yeah.
Do you listen to podcasts?
I'm trying to think. No, I have been so focused, man. All I do is listen to like church stuff, J. Cole, and inspiration videos. Like, I've been hyper focused lately because I refuse to I am trying my best to move the right way. Like, it's hard, man. Like the whole throttle thing, like that 85 to 95% throttle, it is very hard to navigate, and I don't want to miss a sign or a move I should make. So every day I'm like trying to learn and hear of what I should do next, and that's what's led me here. Honestly, like, literally, I'm not joking when there's things that have proven to me that I'm like, look, I was like, I don't care what anyone says. Like, I feel like God really helped me through this process and got me to here, just because of, like, there's certain, sermons I listen to and songs that really, like, I was like, all right, I was like, I hear it. I'm gonna do this. Let's see how the outcome is. And then boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, that's really cool, ironic. But there's too many ironic times where I'm like, all right, I'm not even gonna question anymore. Yeah. Like, I'm not, like, it's like irony can only travel so far. Like, once you really open up and you really start to get spiritually sound, and like God's only gonna be in your life as much as you want Him to be in. And once you really open that up, there's walls that break down, because there was opportunities that just fell. I didn't do any market; it just fell in my lap, and I was like, this is a really cool opportunity. I like this network thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we're an unknown brand presented with the opportunity to play with known artists. And that's like, it's cool. It's such a cool opportunity, and I'm just happy and thankful. And everything, the way even like I got here was just like, all right, do this. It's just a journey. And I was like, went over here and did that. And so that's all I'm focused on, is just always improving.
How long has this been your focus, like this way of thinking?
So it's not overnight. It is a slap in the face, and then we start to work. So when I created Inue, it was because Monica, my wife, pretty much said, like, we were dating then, we weren't married, and she said, how long are you gonna do this? I'm good on you. Like, I just don't feel the same for you, because I was working all the time. So that was a slap in the face. Yeah. And during that time, and that was in 2018, during that time, I was crushed. Like, we were dating for like 9 years at the time, or 8 years, and I was crushed. And that is when I started to design the character. And, during that time, I had not lived that way. All I wanted was success, and I thought I had to do it. You know what I mean? I thought it was just up to me, and nobody would help me, and I was just out here trying to make things happen. And looking back, I can see position, like, I was positioned through things. Like, it was just a navigation. So not until it was just a gradual transition to, like, all right, I'm gonna really commit myself to this. More and more, and it's like you said, how you pull things out of your life, like you pull in caffeine. That's why I relate to that, because, like, I slowly pull. What happens if I pull that out? Yeah. What happens if I pull that out? What happens if I think this way? What happens if I do this? And then slowly I got to a point where, like, it's almost like you build a a snowball that you just can't stop. Like, I am already this now. I don't need to try to be this. I am this because I've worked on myself for so long. Like, it's just like what I do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm confident in my walk in faith and my walk in life, because now I did the work to build myself up. Granted, self-check last night, felt some way. Yeah. And I was like, look, hey, we worked for this. We worked for when these situations come up, for you to be able to really, really pray about it, really talk about it, talk to your friends, talk Kenny, my wife. Am I overreacting? Yes. Yeah. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's good to have those people around.
Yeah.
So what are some of the changes that you made that you noticed the biggest differences from?
Not comparing. Probably the best. That's the best thing. And I in comparison is it's like a freaking, it's like it sneaks up on you because you don't think you're comparing yourself. You're just enjoying their content at first, and you're like, man, I like that. Man, I want that. Yeah. Man, I need that. And then all of a sudden you're like, when did I get this way? Yeah. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I used to enjoy this. Then in a transitioning to like me like thirsting over it. Yeah. So I think comparison is was a thief of joy. If that's a quote. I'm pretty sure that's a quote. And that's kind of like what I even try to help like everyone. Like my wife, like we have a really cool relationship to the point where like we self-check each other all the time. Like all the time, we'll have difficult conversations that like are like, oh, I hate you. It's like, why are you bringing that up? You know what I mean? It's like because we're self-checking each other. But like, and I told her, because I like, you know, sometimes it's on my end where I'm like, oh, this sucks. All right, let's talk to this, you know, and or it's on her and I remember saying like, what, don't you want me to help you improve? Like, don't you want me to want you to be the best you? And vice versa. Like, would you rather have a guy that just doesn't care and like was like, yeah, let's just thirst over success at all costs and taint our children's perspective on how to look at the world, so that way they grew up not being content because all they care about is the stuff that we care about. If you say the word famous enough times around your child, when they grow up, guess what they're going to want to be? Yeah. Famous. You know what I mean? And that's why I always try to, it's more so like for my children, like what we talk about is going to, you know, it's going to leak out in natural conversation with my daughter and our son's around. My son doesn't understand English, but you know what I mean? And so that's why I'm like, let's work on each other. And so yeah, it's but it all comes down to comparison, and it's a snake. It sneaks up on you. You don't know. Yeah. You don't know you're doing it. I didn't know I was doing it. I thought, because I always had the good intentions. Even when I came last time, I had good intentions. But like looking back, I'm like, man, you know, I was just trying. Like I was doing certain things for the wrong reason, or I wasn't balanced. I was putting way too much weight on the outcome of a certain thing. Yeah. It's not necessarily like you can lead with good intentions, but you have so much weight on it. Like getting in trouble at your job, like if you work at like a IT job or any job, you get in trouble. If you put too much weight on that, it could ruin your whole life. Like you get in trouble, you can go yell at your wife. Yeah. She yells at your kids and you destroy everything. But all because like you allowed your job to dictate, and you put way too much weight on that. Like that's when I try to instill that in myself, and like don't put so much pressure on this specific thing.
Yeah, that's so funny, dude. I just had a conversation with one of my good friends. He's having problems at his job, and he's been there for 12 years or so. And I'm like, bro, let's break it down. How much are your bills a month? Okay, this is what your bills are a month. Okay, this is how much you would have to make a day. Like, you can figure out a way to make that much money throughout something else, some other channel to make that money, because that's the only reason you're working at that place, right? Yeah. To pay your bills. Like, you're letting these people talk to you this way and make you feel this way, make you feel this shitty, not being able to go on vacation or do whatever you want to do. For this, like the black and white, this is really what it is. You're getting paid this much, you're giving them this much of your time and energy and control over you. Is it worth it? Because you could find how to make this much money somewhere else, where you're doing your own thing. You're fucking kicking out the beach or whatever the hell you want to do. But it's easy for me to say that from my perspective because I've done it.
Yeah, it's hard to relate. I always have a hard time with that, when saying the right thing to someone that's going through something that you really can't relate to, because I never want to say something just to say something. Yeah. And that's where, like, that's one thing that's a struggle, where it's like when someone's going through something that's traumatic for them, but you don't really feel that it's traumatic, but it's their reality, and you're trying to relate, and that's when that's another situation where that I've tried to work on myself, and that's more so leaning on like the personal experiences, whether you have like a family member going through something hard and dealing with something that you've never dealt with, and that feels like their own fault. You know what I mean? One of those situations. Yeah. And it's hard to have empathy. Like, that's one thing that the past few years has revealed to me, like how to have a level of empathy. I believe it's empathy. To be able to like console, like help them in a sense, in a right way, not just say, "You got this, man. Yeah, like, you gonna do it." You know what I mean? Like there's levels.
Just believe.
Yeah, like all you gotta do is put in the work, baby. Then they're like, yeah, like that. It's tough. Or even like, say you have a creative friend, and like they're struggling. Like, what do you like? That is hard, because you can't say, "You got this, bro," because that is not what I want to hear when I'm down. Yeah. Like, I've learned that, like, I know, like, let's talk about the details. Like, let's get into some like good suggestions, good conversations. What do you like? Let's break that down instead of like, dude, man, your stuff is fire, bro. You gonna make it, bro. We're gonna be out here, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, like there's levels to that. And that's another thing I've learned. Like, I used to be a hothead for success, right? And I was like, content, you know, and like literally, like, you need to film, you need to put this out, you need to do this, and over time, I'm like, you know what? I don't need to talk to you about what I'm doing and what you're doing. Let's just hang out and like let's just chill. Like, I don't need to, unless if you do want to talk about it, like, say, I don't need to put myself let's just talk it out, and I'll listen, or I'll look at it and see if there's anything that I might have a suggestion on. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
yeah. I feel you on that, dude. It's just like I the whole journey that you're on, I can totally relate to it. Just picking apart everything about yourself and then just trying to make it better. And it's so dope that you've found that. You know, because a lot of people don't. You know, it is a scary path to be on, though, because you realize that the life that you thought was reality isn't reality.
Oh my God, yeah! I thought I was gonna tattoo. Yeah, literally. After high school, I didn't go to college on purpose because I was making so much money tattooing. Yeah, and I was like, I'm good. But then, you know, that's a whole. It's funny, on my last podcast, we went from start to finish. Yeah, and I was like, man, I was like, you want like the start, like. I was like, oh, this is gonna be long. Yeah. and it's so like over here and here and here, and like things were working out over here, but like that was only because of this, and like we were gonna meet over there. Yeah. And that's what is so cool, is like this is a journey. Like, though I think I have a 5-year plan, or you can even say 2-year plan. But you never know. Like, you never know what life's gonna throw at you, and it's just a creative journey. Like, and it's like every day we improve. Every day we want to get better and sharpen our tools and just go to work. Yeah.
How do you find a way of tapping into your creativity, or is it always on tap?
It's probably too much. Like, I can't.
Really?
Yeah. I'm a psychopath. It's ridiculous. It drives me crazy because like it's I can't think. Like, it's a struggle because I have to shut it off. Where like my wife's talking to me, but I'm in la la land. Yeah. And I'm like, duh. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? And it's 24/7. So like I have to figure out how to turn it back. And if I'm starting a new project, and it's like how to turn on some new ideas. One thing I've learned is like run through quick ideas. Like, instead of like, I love final product. Like, my buddy tells me all the time, he's like, you love to get to the final product. He's like, you need to spend a little bit more time in development and just flush it out. And I used to go straight to like modeling, like 3D sculpting on my computer. And he was like, just go to your pencil and draw out a couple ideas, some rough ones. And like that's one thing that helps me get to a good idea. Or like the shoe with the Vibram shoe. Mm-hmm. I had to the first thing I did, because I have a new process, is like I went to my iPad and just started sketching, started to work out some ideas, and like it, it was rough, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. And then you got to balance the reality of like, all right, you just drew Inue like on the side of the shoe. You don't know what that side of the shoe is. It might be 1.5 inches, and then all of a sudden, like, that's impossible to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, then you have to you go through creative process and practicality. So like that's where, if there's something that I would struggle with, is like, firing up the engines and like
gotcha.
like an old diesel. You know what I mean? Yeah. But once we're going 400,000 miles.
I love it. Yeah. So dude, tell me about the necklace, bro. I love it, dude.
Yeah, thank you. What did I just all right, how's this? We made it. I was telling you, 99 millimeter one.
Yeah.
And I love jewelry. I love making myself jewelry. Mm-hmm. Like, and I make like jewelry is like, there's certain elements, stuff I do, and it's just for family and friends, just because I love it. And I wanted to have something to wear, because I love jewelry. Yeah. And so I was like, all right, we're gonna design some keychains, and like I got some all made for my friends, and yeah, we got this 99 millimeter Inue made, and it was just for marketing purposes. And it was worn at DJ Envy's like last birthday party.
Yeah.
And it was like, that was the main reason we got it made for.
Who wore it?
One of my buddies.
Oh, sick.
He was invited there. So it was but it's just like, it was made in a time that we didn't know where we were going. And that was like when I was introduced. Remember I mentioned that we were introduced to like hip hop culture.
Yeah.
And a little bit of that.
Okay, gotcha.
And we were kind of pushed into a direction that I didn't see myself fitting in. And that's when I want to say I removed myself, but it just happened that it didn't work out. Mm-hmm. And that's one of those things, like, sometimes you just got to let it play out. And like, though you would want to ride around in Lamborghinis, bump shoulders with some cool people, like sometimes that's not meant to be in your creative journey. But I think it happened to get myself moving at a pace and at a level that I thought I was going to be high level, because it prepared me for what we brought. So we got presented with this opportunity, and I started to, do too much, right? Like, that's when I started like, all right, we're going to be an artist that like is more so like hip hop culture and high end, like fine art world. I was like, all right, I got to start painting. That's when I made the one painting. I was like, I got to do this. I got to make chains. And but it didn't work out. But I in that process, it instilled this was the first opportunity. It instilled a belief in me and my wife that it was like, oh, this is really something, because this dude knows this dude and this dude, and that dude says it's gonna work. Yeah. You know what I mean? One of those. And but because of that, it allowed me to grow and really push product and push, like, I'm like, all right, I wasn't going to do certain packaging details because I was like, oh, trying to figure it out. But it pushed me to like, I need this to be the best I can do. And it allowed me to really grow into that I am now. So like, I never look at like any opportunity that falls to the wayside. It's never a bad thing. Like, yeah. It was like, it got me to here. And then now when we pitched the idea to network and really started to work through that process, I was almost like so prepared for that moment, because I've already have talked about it, and really I did the work. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh yeah, we got this. This is what we're going to do next year. This is what we're going to do next month. And it's like, we had a whole plan, and they're like, okay. Like literally, like, it was to the point where they're like, yeah, I don't see any, like, literally said, I don't see any reason this won't work.
Nice.
And it was just like, it was a very almost awkwardness, because they didn't have any questions. Because like,
you thought about everything.
Yeah, they had like almost no questions, and I just provided for them. I was like, use these photos and these, you know what I mean? And so yeah, I never judge any specific opportunity or season in your life, because you never know where it's gonna lead. Dude,
I love it, bro. Ryan, you're such a fascinating guy, bro.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I'm so excited
Just
for you,
trying.
dude. I know you are, dude. I can tell, man. Just from following you, you know, talking to you before, I could tell the passion that you had, and I've just been so intrigued these last, 2 years, just seeing you create this, and I'm so excited for you tomorrow, man. I hope that this, that you find whatever success in it. I'm sure that you've already found it. Just being at that point where it's happening, where you get to this level, like. That's a huge goal.
Thank you, man, and you too, man. I'm
Thank
excited.
You,
I'm excited for your future as well, because I think we're both all growing, and we're all gonna find in 5 years we're gonna, the next one's not gonna be in 5 years, but like in 5 years when we do one, we're gonna look back now and say, man, would you have guessed we would have been here?
Yeah, right.
I think that's what, like, it's usually how, like, I would have never known. Coming back to LA, we would have had a purpose to come back. Like we came out to really hang out with you and be on the podcast last time, and now we're like when we went back, young, didn't know a direction. Now we come back with such purpose and direction that it's like, imagine, we judge 1 year, 2 years so much, where it was like that 4-year span with your son, like that's gonna go so fast, but yet when it's 4 years in business, we judge it forever. 4 years in business seems like your whole life. I feel like I've been trying my whole life, but I'm only 29, and like I've been trying for like tattooing doesn't count because that was like situational and some crazy stuff happened, but like I really like the drifting, the brand, like that's 5-6 years. That's not a long time in life.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like that happens, but we judge it so much, and I think in 5 years from now we're gonna be pretty in a cool position.
Yeah, dude. That's one of the reasons I like to do these podcasts.
Time capsules.
Definitely, it is, and I feel like it's a form of time travel. Because I'm so visual, and I can listen to something that I recorded years back, and I can remember exactly where I was at that time, how I felt, why I answered the question like that, why I talked about that subject, because of the position that I was at that time. So yeah, dude, I'm excited to look back at this in the future, and see where we've come, dude.
We're gonna be made. We made it, baby. Come on.
Hell yeah, man. So before we get out of here, dude, let's just give everybody a breakdown where they can follow you and the story at.
Everything's Nito Inue. Even if you go to nitoinue.com, it reroutes you to nitostudio.com.
Okay, gotcha.
So like you can just type in Nito Inue, NITOINUE.
Okay.
So it's it's a fun journey, man. It's just, what's cool is this is just the beginning. This is literally just the start.
Hell yeah.
Like, dude, we're just at the starting line, and there's a lot more characters, and everyone I show, everyone loves the next character more than anyone else.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, dude. His name's Odin. And everyone's like, when Odin dropping, dog. And I'm like, I don't know who talks like that. But
well, I've been waiting for Inue, dude, so I'm stoked on Odin.
Yeah.
But hell yeah, bro. I appreciate you coming, man. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, of course,
I'm
bro.
excited.
And thank you guys all for listening. Please check out Ryan, and you guys are going to know what I mean once you check out his socials, dude. He's got some crazy content, and dude, you can tell you put your heart into it, bro. And I love it, dude. And I'm excited for your journey, brother.
Thank you, man.
Of course, man. Everybody, thank you for listening. This is Downtime with Downstar, episode 223, and we're out. Peace.
Peace.